I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing.
Lobito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Hi, this is King Butcher. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena post-fight show. By the way, on Discord, I just called everybody who was on the show yesterday. That's why I called you, John. But anyways, man.
Okay, my bad, dude.
Nah, if you want to join, man, join, man. But we're gonna be talking about the fight.
I didn't see the fights yesterday, so I'm gonna watch them in a bit. So I'm gonna jump out.
Alright, go watch the fights, man.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, everybody in the shout out to people in the chat. PSK, Boxing Virus, Seamus Carey, Virtuoso, Jay Perez, Boxing Virus, Sosa. Guys, welcome to the show. You know what this is all about? We're gonna be talking about yesterday's fight. You're probably wondering how I scored it. I had a 7-5 for Jose Ramirez. I don't get people who I know some people are saying it was a robbery. I mean, I don't think it was a robbery. Especially, I mean, some people had it 9-3 for Postol. I mean, I think that's an exaggeration. 9-3. But we're gonna break down this fight. I want people to call in. I want you people in the chat to tell me why you scored it the way you did. And yeah, I also want to open StreamYard, so just give me a few seconds because I'm running solo here. But yeah, I want to discuss this, man. I want to break it down. We're also going to be talking about what's next, not only for Jose Ramirez, but for Postol as well, because that was a very good performance for Postol, despite being, 36-37. That was a very good performance. He's still in the game, people. We're going to be seeing more of Postol. You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. I don't know if people are talking about it, but that would be an interesting fight, a rematch. Why not? But of course, we're going to be talking about also Ramirez's future. Everybody's talking about a potential Josh Taylor fight. I think at this point, the consensus is that Josh Taylor is the favorite. But I want to know what you guys think. So let me open up the phone lines, so we can get this party started. And yeah, I might throw out some StreamYard links as well. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. You know, I hate agreeing with Andre Ward, but kind of did yesterday a little bit. Although his scorecard was a little bit wide at the beginning. Hold on. I'm opening the phone lines. Phone lines.
Come on, motherfuckers! Come on, motherfuckers!
All right. There we go. Phone lines are open. StreamYard's open. All right, let's get to the chat over here. 116, 112 scorecard. Who gave it one? I gave it 115, 113. I don't know. Did I say that or did I say something else before? 7-5. It also says the spawn bites are getting out of hand. What do you mean?
Come on, motherfuckers!
Is everybody drinking again today? Says Wesley Mitchell. No. Well, I'm drinking coffee here. No more drinking, people. Show gets out of hand. I think we had a rule: no alcohol during the show. But the fucking Virtuoso broke that rule, and then Gonzalo did. So it just turned into a one giant mess. All right. Let's get to the comments. Or should I start with explaining why I had it for 7-5 for Ramirez? But let's begin with that. Let's start with that. Father Hack Jacket says drink. Now, we're not drinking, man. It's Sunday. It's the day of the Lord. I remember I went to Cancun and I couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays. I was like, what the fuck is this? That's because it's Sunday. Can't buy alcohol on Sunday. I was like, what is this shit? They don't have that in other places in Mexico, as far as I know. But they did in Cancun, so I was like, that ruined my vacation. All right, let's get this. So, listen, it was a close fight. Postol did a good job. The rounds that Postol won, I think he won because obviously he jabbing and maintaining distance control. So that's ring generalship. Now, there were instances where I think you can give the round to Ramirez because as Ramirez was coming forward, Postol wasn't landing the jab. And then he was backing up to the point where he was sometimes running and then his back was touching the ropes. He has no sense, no awareness of where he's in the ring. He's not in control, right? He doesn't want to be on the ropes. It's not like it was his idea to lean on the ropes and wait for Ramirez to come in or something. He was ending up on the ropes because he was unaware of where he was in the ring. He was just more concerned about just backing up, being on the back foot. In those instances, I'm not saying he did that throughout the whole fight. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying he did that in some rounds, some close rounds, where then I had to give the round to Ramirez. Boxer says Bucho's been going to Bible studies with BDA. Don't tell anybody. I'm changing my life. But so that's some of the reasons. Listen, in some rounds, Ramirez was out jabbing Postol. And if you want to talk about damage, I know it's not a criteria. Damage is not a criteria, but look at Postol's face. He was more busted up than Ramirez. Ramirez started bleeding from the mouth after the 10th, I believe. But I was disappointed with Ramirez because he should have been more aggressive. And I believe it was after round 6. Robert Garcia told Ramirez, listen, it's a close fight. You got to be more aggressive. And in round 7, I believe that's when he hurt Postol. That's when he was more aggressive, and I think he should have done that more often. Now, we've talked about Ramirez's lack of stamina. Maybe he knows about it. I mean, maybe he knows, you know what, I can't really fight at that pace with that type of aggressiveness or else I'm going to get tired. And a lot of those, because he was inactive, a little bit too inactive in some of these rounds, that's why he lost them. Now, I'm not taking credit away from Postol. He's a great boxer. We knew he's a great boxer. Listen. He lost against Josh Taylor, but let's be honest. That's one of Josh Taylor's toughest fights. In addition to that Regis Progress fight. So he's not a bum in there. Now I know some people are now saying, "Well, it's a washed up version of Postol. He's an old version. I didn't see any washed up in there, man. Any washed up, any signs of the guy being washed up. So, listen, it was a close fight. I just can't give it to Postol, man. I don't think he was controlling a lot of these rounds, man. Being on the back foot like that, and he wasn't even landing. I can understand if you land the jab, take a little step back, then turn. Yeah, you're in control. But when you're backing up, and you end up on the ropes, I mean, you're not in control of anything there. As a matter of fact, you don't want to engage to the point where, like, just running away, basically. You're not in control. But it was a close fight, man. Listen, there's some rounds that Postol clearly won. But again, I want to hear what you guys think. Let me open up the phone lines. Oh, sorry, they're already open. And let's give us some StreamYard links. By the way, I'm doing the show early because I had some stuff to do later, so. All right, here's the StreamYard link if you want to join. Also, call in the numbers on your screen. I see T-Tone's in the chat. I don't know. Robbery? Oh, hell no. Well, of course, T-Tone. He had Ramirez winning. But again, close fight. I had Ramirez winning. The 116, what was it? 112 card? I think that's a little bit too much, but nothing crazy. 114 makes sense, I guess. But somebody said like 9-3 Postol. You're out of your mind, in my opinion. What do you? Okay. All right. Sorry, I was doing something else here. Grievous in the chat says Ramirez didn't land too many clean shots, did he? Well, he landed clean shots to the point where Postol's face was busted up. I don't think, if you're gonna ask me, I mean, he even hurt Postol at some point, so I think that's a hard shot. JJ says I've seen 10 rounds to 2 for Postol. Okay, that's crazy. Box Burns says 7-5 Postol or draw. The Mexican was missing bogus punch stats. Well, yeah. So did Postol. Postol was also missing with those 1-2s. And a lot of jabs were just missing or hitting the Ramirez's gloves. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Postol didn't land any shots, because some people are going to start thinking that. Of course not. Ramirez was landing a lot of single jabs, man. Postol would miss, and then he would, I don't know, I guess Postol thought he was out of range, and his hands was a little bit low, and then Ramirez would just pop him with a jab. PSK says, do you think this version of Ramirez has a chance versus Taylor? No. A lot of people are asking this question, right? Like, this version of Ramirez. This is Ramirez, man. I think he should have been a little bit more aggressive. But this is kind of the Ramirez we saw against Cepeda. But listen, that fight against Taylor is going to be completely different. Now, Taylor's not going to fight like Postol, and Taylor likes to mix it up, man. Taylor likes to also bang, exchange, and that's going to favor Ramirez. Now, I believe that for the first, if they ever fight, at the beginning of the fight, you're going to see Taylor try to outbox Ramirez, but then they're going to start clashing. That's a little bit what happened in the Postol-Taylor fight. If you look at Taylor, was trying to box Postol, and that's why those first few rounds were very close, in my opinion. But then they started to bang, and sure, Postol landed some good shots on Taylor coming in, but Taylor got the best of Postol on the inside. Because Postol is not a very good boxer on the inside, and when in exchanges, he likes to fight, European style with range. Like we were talking, like fencing, those movements. But Taylor is much better on the inside. So anyway, so if Taylor fights Ramirez, they're going to be banging, exchanging. Now, I still would pick Taylor to win that fight. He's a favorite. Tito Toledo says, we will see. He's not convinced that Taylor would be the favorite or that he would beat Ramirez. Big Boxing Virus says, I think Ramirez beats Taylor. I mean, maybe, but I wouldn't bet anything on Ramirez at this point. Griva says Taylor beats Ramirez. Yeah, I think so. Big Steve Idiot says Taylor loves to tear up too much sometimes. Sometimes. See, that's the thing, though. I mean, Taylor just watched this fight. Actually, he tweeted something along the lines as great performance, Postol, great performance, and then he said, and Ramirez, like saying, not a good performance from Ramirez. What do you guys think Ramirez should do, though? What should he change? Can he even do anything to improve? Because again, I think we all agree here in the chat that he needs to do something because he's the underdog against Josh Taylor. Who would you have picked? King Bucho, Danny Garcia, or Viktor Postol? Jesus. I mean, Danny always pulls it off, man. Usually. Didn't like that Lamont Peterson fight. Trying to think if he fought somebody similar to Postol. Shit, I don't know, man, to be honest. I mean, maybe Dania Garcia lands one of those fucking left hooks. Good question. JJ Prime says Postol schools Garcia. Maybe, man. Blues Boxing says he's not beating Taylor on that performance. Nah. But guys, look, when Ramirez was aggressive, especially that 7th round, when his trainer, Robert Garcia, told him, listen, the fight is close. You got to go for it, man. You got to be more aggressive. Man, he was outboxing, basically, Postol, outworking him, and then he landed that, I don't know, it was like a left hook jab that fucking stunned Postol. Should have been done that more often. Now, again, Ramirez has stamina issues. That's what we keep hearing. So maybe that's why he didn't go. Or maybe that's why Ramirez wasn't that aggressive in some rounds. Sorry, phone lines. Yeah, phone lines are open and StreamYard. Check out StreamYard. I'm gonna post the link again. Oh shit! I think I lost this. Hold on, I'm trying to get on StreamYard here. All right. So yeah, what was he saying? Well, let's read some comments in the chat. Oh, Stu, are you there? I think we have Stu. Probably getting some tea. PSK in the chat says Taylor is a better boxer at range and better inside fighter. Taylor will break him down. That's the thing with Josh Taylor. He's good on the outside and on the inside. That could be a difference, man. That could make the difference. I mean, he could outbox, Ramirez. Yeah.
Ucho, listen, I'm just going to go down the road and get something to eat quickly because I'm fucking hungry. I've just finished doing what I'm about to do, man. So
go ahead.
20 minutes, yeah?
Yeah, I'll be
Give
here.
me 20 minutes, bro.
Sure.
Man.
All right. There you have it. Still gonna go get something to eat. He'll be back. So as I was saying, I could imagine if Josh Taylor is kind of outboxing Ramirez, and then when he wants to, he fucking bangs with Ramirez. See, that's the thing. Josh Taylor he's more of a complete fighter. That's the thing. More movement, better movement than Ramirez. Nah, seriously, you gotta go with Josh Taylor, man. You gotta go with Josh Taylor in that fight. Canelo Alvarez in the chat says Ramirez showed some decent aggression and had good power shots, but Postol gave good work. Roha Wa says Crawfish versus Postol is one of the worst fights I can recall. Crawfish ran like a bitch all night, refusing to engage. Should have been disqualified. That was a Terrible fight. Terrible fight. But Crawford knew what he had to do, man. Move. Run. No, but let's be honest, Postol also sucked that night, man. He looked stiff. I know, it was a terrible fight, man. Both fighters didn't. That was a pay-per-view fight. Can you believe that? This is the thing with these fighters like Crawford. He should have understood that, listen, I'm finally being showcased on pay-per-view. It's my time to shine. I will take risks that I wouldn't have taken in other fights because, I want to make a statement. He didn't do that. He didn't do anything impressive. He just went in there and it's like, oh, I'm going to just win the fight. But then you can't do that and then complain about, you're not getting, the recognition that you deserve. You're not getting, this and that. Well, of course, because it was your fault. You decided to box that way. You fucked up that opportunity. Anyways, let's not talk about crawfish. Rojawa says it did 35,000 pay-per-views. Crawfish was too scared to take risks. He would have been KO'd and he knows it. Well, there's a reason why he fought that way. Renegan Sensei in the chat says Timothy Bradley failing to pronounce Ramirez and Ramirez's name had me rolling. Yeah, I know. What was that all about? And I was like, what's he trying to say? Oh, Ramirez. Oh. I like that little feud or disagreement that Andre Ward and Timothy Bradley had. Pretty funny. Reverend Pickle says Taylor will beat Ramirez up. Agree. Yeah. Now, when people are in the chat, when you say that Taylor's going to win the fight, you think it's going to be an easy fight? Because that's what I'm understanding from some people. Like, someone's saying it like this. Josh Taylor will whoop Jose Ramirez. Whoop. That's a big word. Can he whoop Ramirez? I don't know, man. I think he beats him. I don't know if he whoops him. Boxing Virus says, I still got Ramirez winning a war. Boxing Virus is convinced that Ramirez will win the fight. Cerny Bander says Ramirez will whoop Taylor. Okay. Well, there you have it. I don't know about that. Box Burner said, now, Styles makes fights, people. Should talk about that as well. Styles makes fight. Box Burner says Andre Ward was jokes. First 4 rounds to Ramirez. Maybe 3-1. I don't think. I think the first. I didn't give it. I didn't give all 4 rounds to Ramirez, but I think Ramirez won most of the first rounds. First 4 rounds. Mateus Lee says, what happened between Bradley and Ward? Where Bradley had in around round 6, I think Bradley had Postol winning the fight, and then Ward said, like, what are you watching? Are you crazy? And then started disagreeing. Griva says, if Taylor keeps his cool, he wins. Yeah? It's going to be about that. Because Ramirez is still dangerous, guys. I mean, he is dangerous. Come on. That's why Postol fought the way he did. I know that's his style, but listen, he could have banged a little bit more, tried to bang. He didn't want to. Giuseppe La Rocca says Ramirez looked bad because Postol has an awkward style. That's right. That's why Taylor was more successful against Postol. He just at some point he went like again the first few rounds in that Postol Taylor fight. What did I say? Postol. Yeah, Taylor was trying to box from the outside. The fight looked closed. Once Taylor said, "Fuck this shit," I'm banging. I'm going in there, man, and trying to fucking hurt this guy. That's when Taylor started winning more rounds, or clearly winning the rounds, I should say. So you gotta get dirty, man. Gotta get dirty. Cerny Bander says, "What fight did you guys watch if you think Postol won?" Okay. All right, we got some people who had Ramirez winning. Welcome to my team. Now, I wouldn't say what fight were you watching, think it was a close fight. But I had Ramirez winning, man. I'm telling you, when you're backing up, you're on the ropes, you don't have any ring generalship, man. Now, I'm not saying that happened throughout the whole fight. I'm saying in some instances that happened, and I had to give the round to that close round to Ramirez. Mateus Lee says, mark my words, Lomachenko beats Crawford and then retires. Holy shit. What are you talking about? Fight's never gonna... I don't think Lomachenko should move up to 140, man. Then he's gonna maybe get dropped or stopped, or then you're gonna have people saying, I told you, Lomachenko was exposed. He's small for 135. But anyways, we're talking about Ramirez and his future. LA told us Ramirez said he was worn out by the 2 full camps he had. Shit, this thing's moving. And then Postol fight canceled twice because of COVID. Yeah, but I mean, that's, I guess, a reason. But you can say the same thing about Postol. Coming off a layoff. Jumpstar says, had Ramirez winning by a round. Boxing Fire says Crawford is too big. Yeah, no, Crawford's too big for Lomachenko. Titon Toledo says effective punches, pace of fight, ring generalship, Ramirez. That's the thing. Ring generalship has to be taken into account. Now, there were rounds where I think Postol had the ring generalship. Jabbing, he landed those jabs, right? Because a lot of times he was jabbing and they weren't landing, or even the 1-2s. But in some rounds, Postol was landing jabs, moving, taking little steps back, not full strides going all the way back like fucking Amir Khan does. So Postol was taking little steps back and then turning. That's ring generalship. You're controlling your opponent. But in other instances, Postol's backing up, basically almost running, and then ends up on the ropes. That's not ring generalship. Boxing Virus says, okay, well, I want Canelo Joshua. Okay, what are you guys talking about? The guys. Johnny Boy in the chat says, good fight. I had Postol 7-5. Not going to complain if somebody had it 6-6 or 7-5 Ramirez. Well, there you have it. Reasonable comment from Johnny Boy. By the way, Johnny Boy, gonna send you a link. Stu's gonna be joining us soon. He just went to the store. All right, let's keep reading some comments here. Giuseppe La Rocca said, salute Paisano Johnny, Paisano. On the telly, says Taylor is literally a better version of Postol with power. Different styles, but yeah, better. More dangerous. More dangerous. Reese Max says, I had Postol winning 115-113. He was sending Ramirez to jab city for most of the fight. His lateral movement had Ramirez swinging at air at times. I think he was robbed. I don't know about robbed. What was your scorecard? Okay. Johnny Boy, hold on. Damn. Gotta call everybody again. Ah, shit. Hold on, people. Trying to get Johnny Boy in here. Yo, Johnny, I'm calling you, man. Actually, I'll send you a link. Another link. Because you said that link isn't working. All right, sorry about that, people. All right, we have Steven Schneider in the chat. He says, Johnny, what's up?
Oh, no, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I was going to read a comment here. What is it? Weed makes me overanalyze. Booze is what screws your judgment, or screws judgment, I should say. You must have had some laced weed. Okay. Johnny, don't you watch the fights while you're drinking?
Yeah, sometimes. Well, Povetkin and White Eye obviously did. Everybody knows that. But sometimes, see, yeah, the other day I went out on Friday, so I didn't drink Saturday, so I was already,
right.
I think that's a better plan of attack because then because if I drink the night of the fights, then I'm all fucked up by the time it's time to do commentary.
Yeah, Oh yeah, commentary. No.
Yeah, you know.
If you drink, I used to go to I haven't been in a while to watch fights at bars, and I have to go there like an hour before the pay-per-view starts. So I go there at an hour before, and then I start drinking, and by the time the main event shows up, I'm like, fuck, you know.
The last fight I went to the bar at was Conor McGregor and Habib, and I oh god, dog, and I didn't really care who won, but then there was a bunch of dudes from Ireland in there fucking and I'm like, okay, Khabib, just beat this fucker's ass.
So wait, who are you rooting for?
I didn't have a dog in the race.
Okay. But then the Irish
Khabib to shut him the fuck up, but because Conor's a big mouth.
So because the Irish pissed you off, you decided to go with Khabib.
Yeah, and I made believe like I was a McGregor fan, so they kept buying me Guinnesses, and they kept buying me Guinnesses and shots of Jameson. These dudes from Ireland, and I was like, yeah, fucking go Conor, and then he gets clocked, and I'm like, oh, what happened? You know?
Did you fake an Irish accent? Did you fake an Irish accent?
No.
Oh,
and then I rung up like a $90 bill and didn't pay it. I just left. I was like, because I don't like the owner of that joint. So I was like, you know what, you midget fuck. I come in here. I'm like, dude, I pulled the fucking, because my ex used to work there and he didn't like me back then at the same bar. And I was like, you know what, I pulled a Pesci in Goodfellas. Like, you know, the amount of money I spend in this joint, you know, fucking. I was like, fuck you.
Hey, Johnny, your thoughts about Ramirez against Postol?
Look, bro, it was a good fight. I thought Postol should have got the nod, but it was close, but Postol should have probably got
robbery.
The nod. Mark had it 8-4 Postol. I had it 7.
8-4?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to call it a robbery. It was too close to call it a robbery. 116, 112 Ramirez. The one card was ridiculous. I didn't mind 6 rounds. I didn't mind 6 rounds apiece, and I didn't mind 7-5 Ramirez, but that fucking 8-4 Ramirez card, like, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So.
Tito Tolides is telling me to tell you. Tell him, Bucho. Ramirez won the fight.
Did I not just say it was close? It could have gone either way. It was a tight fight, bro. What did I just say, Tito? I'm not going to call it a robbery and be an asshole. I thought Postol edged it out. It was a close fight, and I'm not going to bitch if somebody had it the other way around.
And Ramirez was out jabbing Postol in some rounds. Some rounds, people are going to go, oh, what are you talking about? In some rounds, he was out jabbing Postol, which wasn't supposed to be the fucking case. And again, ring generalship, very important. Postol's backing up, ends up on the ropes. Oh, that's part of his plan?
Yeah.
Nah. That's you don't have ring. You're not controlling your opponent. You don't know where the fuck you are, and you end up on the ropes. And trust me, Postol didn't want to be on the ropes. Trust me.
I thought I had it 4-2 Postol after 6. I thought it was very close. The first round could have won either way. I believe it was the first round. That was the one I was like, I don't know. And then there was another round, and there might have been the 5th or the 6th round. I'm like, So I gave one guy one close round and one guy the other close, the close round. And I'm like, I thought Postol started off real strong. Ramirez came back on around the 6th, 7th, 8th, in there. And I thought Postol got the 12th, and that's what edged it for me. So there you go.
Acceptable.
Yeah. It was a good fight. I mean, it's not a robbery. It's a good fight. I thought Postol should have got the nod, but it was a close fight,
Yeah, so what's next? I mean, what's next? Everybody wants to see Ramirez against Josh Taylor. How do you see that fight taking? Like, what do you think is going to happen now? Because Ramirez didn't look that good, man.
I'm curious because some of that Might have been him coming off a layoff because the dude hasn't fought in 18 months because of the fucking pandemic. Same thing with Taylor, and the kid he's fighting is mandatory. Is a tough little Asian fella, I guess. So I'm curious to see what he's going to look like at the end of the month here when he fights his mandatory, and then I think we'll have a better idea of who we should be favoring going into that fight.
Well, who would you favor now?
Well, Taylor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because Taylor, I mean, and I don't like using the triangle theory, but Taylor fucking blasted Postol, and Ramirez struggled with him.
I don't know if he blasted Postol, man. I think it was a close fight. Now, those scorecards in Scotland were a bit like outrageous, man. I mean, I think one judge gave it a 119, 108 because there was a knockdown. Like, come on, 119?
Yeah.
You give one round to Postol? Come on, man. So, and I think the other cards were 118 or something. Like, I don't know, man. It was a closer fight than what those scorecards were saying.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the chat. Let's see some comments over here. Facts over feeling says, once again, Jimmy's pick was spot on. Seriously, that mobster sending freak. What freak knows what he's talking about? What Jimmy? What pick? All right, let me look at the picks. All right, we had Stu said Ramirez by decision. Jimmy said Ramirez by split decision. It was a majority decision, though. D. Jefferson says Ramirez by unanimous decision. Gonzalo, Ramirez 10th round stoppage. I said Ramirez by stoppage, but actually then I said 9th round stoppage, and I was way off. So...
Yeah. I said Ramirez on points or a late stoppage. That's what I said on my, so.
Reese Mack says Jimmy was the closest. Yeah, that's right. He was.
Yeah, it was, I mean, nobody was wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Well, also, it's very hard for Postol to win a decision when Ramirez is the champion and the favorite. I mean, the star, basically, the A side.
Yeah.
So
I'm like I say, I'm curious to see what Taylor's going to look like against his mandatory. I think that'll give us a lot better of an idea.
Yeah.
Of what it's going to be looking like going into that fight, because that is the one undisputed fight I think we're actually going to get is 140. I think if everything goes smooth with Taylor at the end of the month, hopefully either hook that up for fucking like December or January, February,
so,
something.
I hope
What's
so.
that?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I think they'll get that fight.
There shouldn't be any political. Yeah, there shouldn't be any politics. There shouldn't be any politics around the fucking. The other side of the street, this side of the street, fucking street. Nah, man. This fight should happen. By the way, the major in the chat says if Terrence couldn't stop, what made, I guess, stop dude against Postol, I guess. What made you think Ramirez would? I thought Postol was gonna show his age. Yeah, and he didn't. So
exactly.
Pretty much it, man.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing as Butch. I'm like, okay, well, he's 36, almost 37 years old. He hasn't fought in, 18 months. He's probably going to show up, get a payday, and get knocked the fuck out. That's what I thought, and I was wrong. So.
Yep. Don't crucify us.
Yeah, don't crucify. Yeah. So, what did you pick? What did you pick, Major? Postol to win by stoppage, dog, or Yeah.
The Major says Fair didn't know he was that old. To be honest. Well, to be fair, yeah, he's 36, 37, man. He's been around. So I thought he was.
It kills me when these dudes who don't even make predictions come out of the fucking woodwork after a fight. See, Johnny, bro, I told you. See, Bucho, I told you, bro. You didn't fucking make a pick.
Yeah, Boxing Virus says my prediction was spot on. I didn't read your prediction. You're lying. Now, you know what? I should write all your predictions down next time. I used to do that before. It just takes a lot of time. But I should start doing it again.
They're boxing virus. I'll tell you what the LDBC told me. Show me your receipts, bruh. Show me
The
your
receipts.
receipts,
Yeah,
bruh.
what's that? The receipts and shit. The receipts. Yeah, I have it written down somewhere, signed by my lawyer.
Yeah. I'm the first one to tell you if I got a prediction wrong. I picked Ramirez. Ramirez got the nod. It is what it is. I picked White to fucking beat Povetkin on points. How did that turn out?
Well,
Yeah.
Facts Over Feeling says, I got something to say about Johnny, and here it is that. And here it is that. What? Am I missing something?
Okay. Let's hear it.
I think he's typing it.
Johnny Boy made a Twitter. Now you're all fucked, dude. I'm going to be a nightmare on there, Bucho. I'm going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, Johnny, I think your Twitter experience will end pretty quickly, though. You're going to get banned, and we're going to be pretty much the Twitter Johnny adventure.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be a fun ride while it lasts.
Yes. Check out Johnny Boy's Twitter. What's your Twitter, man? I know I added you, but I don't know what it is, though.
I don't know. I just fucking made it. I didn't sleep last night. I slept for about an hour, like fucking Brad Pitt on Fight Club over here. So I was up at like 4 a.m. Yeah, fucking didn't sleep making a Twitter.
Gee. Well, I have it here. Yeah. Oh, damn. Anyways. Oh, yeah, here it is. Johnny Boy Boxing. It's boxing_Johnny. So Twitter is boxing_Johnny. Go join his Twitter. We need a Twitter army.
Oh, God. Yeah. I don't want no army for nothing. Just come talk some shit to fucking Floyd with me. I don't care. The first thing I sent on there was the Floyd. I was like, Floyd, now why don't you tell everybody how you really stay in shape? #IVGate or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be a fucking menace on there, bro.
He's gonna block you, man. They block you. I think I was blocked by Andre Ward and somebody else. Yeah. Welcome to Twitter.
See, I didn't know you guys when I had a Facebook. I was brutal. I was fucking brutal on there too. I was bad. I'd be like, dude, there'd be some chick from high school that used to look good that was fat with 6 kids and fucking, I'm like, shut the fuck. I'd be like, shut the fuck up, you fucking wildebeest whore. On face. I'm dead serious, Bucho. Quit whining, you fat fuck. Oh, dude. Yeah, I was bad. It was bad. It's gonna be fun while it lasts. Are they real sensitive on there, Bucho? Like,
oh yeah, man.
Like more sensitive. Are they? Oh,
yeah.
This is gonna be.
That's what's Twitter known for, being very PC.
For real? Oh, dude, yeah, that's gonna be bad. This is gonna be fun. The first, dude, I can't. I'm starring in the Black Panther sequel, by the way, guys. I thought I should tell everybody. Johnny Boy's King of Wakanda. Now I'm gonna be starring in the sequel with Kevin Spacey and De Niro and. What the fuck did I do?
Yeah, I saw your yeah. Ridiculous. I don't even watch those fucking superhero movies, man. Yeah. I think I only saw Iron Man, and that's the first one. That's it, man.
The only ones of those I cared about was the fucking Batman movies, and those came out when I was in high school. So I was like,
the Batman movie. Oh, with Christian Bale.
With the fucking Heath Ledger and the Joker and all that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Reese Mack in the chat says, do you think Josh Taylor would fight Ramirez close like he did Regis, or will he use Postol's tactic? I think he will try to use Postol's tactic at the beginning, and then he's just gonna go and do what he knows best. Put on some pain. Pain.
Fucking.
What?
No, I don't even know how to work this fucking thing. I'm looking at the Twitter right now. I'm like, the fuck is this?
Come on, motherfuckers!
Yeah, it's pretty easy, man. You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of. By the way, you're gonna get a lot of weirdos, man. Like they're gonna start stalking you and shit. And trust me, man, we had that with BDA boxing. It was some. I think they were LDBC guys. Although they claim that they are not LDBC, but it's bullshit, man. When they bring up the race card, and when you call them out on it, and you say, "Oh, you're an LDBC guy, right?" They go like, "What's the LDBC? I've never heard of it." I'm like, "How can you not know what the hell the LDBC is, man? Fucking liars, dishonest."
Yeah. Unless you're from fucking Istanbul, if you fucking fuck around on the YouTube, you probably with the boxing, you probably heard of them. Stop fucking playing.
Right. People call in, give us your take on the fight that took place yesterday, and I want to talk about Lara. What happened to Lara? Did he win?
I wasn't really paying attention, Bucho. I'll be right back, buddy.
All right. So people call in. Let us know what you thought. Your thoughts on the Josh Taylor. God damn it. Jose Ramirez versus Viktor Postol fight. Robbery, yes or no? Do you think Ramirez has a chance against Josh Taylor? Don't be shy. Numbers on your screen. Call in. Boxing Virus says, of course, Lara fought a lower tier opponent. Well, that's right. I just read a Twitter where a tweet. I think Al Burstein said like, "Oh, now Lara's fighting in a more stationary fashion. Like he's not moving like before. He's more exciting now." So I guess it was an exciting type of fight, a little bit exciting. You guys tell me. I don't really care. I don't really care, to be honest. Lara never really cared about the guy. Remember when he was... Remember some people were saying that Golovkin was avoiding Lara? Like they weren't even in the same weight division. And Golovkin was avoiding Lara. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Uncle Burnt Apostrophe says, not with Ben Davison in Taylor's corner. Ramirez doesn't stand a chance. He's being sarcastic with the Ben Davison comment. The Major says Ramirez will be too busy for Taylor. Well, he wasn't busy against Postol. But again, different styles. Listen, Taylor's going to come. He's going to be aggressive as well. Right? So that's going to benefit Ramirez. Well, maybe not benefit, but it's going to create an opening. Opportunities for Ramirez to do his thing. On the tell, it says Ramirez isn't busier than Taylor. Not really, to be honest. If you look at that Postol fight, it's not busier than Taylor. Reverend Pickle says, I think it's the other way around, Major. Yeah, good point. It could be that. Especially if Ramirez starts getting tired. It could be a very tough night for Ramirez, man. Boxing Fire says Taylor's face falls apart very easily. I got Ramirez stopping him late. Well, look at Josh Taylor's face after that Regis Prograis fight. His eye was all fucked up, man. But then again, some people are gonna say, "Oh, Regis Prograis hits way harder." Well, I mean, he hits. He has more power than Ramirez, which is true, I guess. That's an explanation.
They're probably about in the same ballpark, to be honest with you.
What the hell is that sound? I don't know. Anyways, let's continue reading some of these comments. PSK says, eye swelling came from a clash of heads. Oh, okay. I remember that, but very possible. On the telly says he wasn't from punches. Okay, it was a headbutt. Okay, it was a nasty head clash. Well, then I stand corrected. I stand
Yeah,
corrected.
after that fight, Taylor looked like, as Austin Powers would say, he looked like he got beaten with an ugly stick.
That was fucked up. It was pretty bad. All right. Well, nobody wants to call in. So we're gonna get like a bunch of callers. Like, oh, I want to talk about this robbery, because a lot of people seem pissed off, man. In some of these channels, they were again. Postol won 9-3. Postol got robbed. But now nobody's calling in. I want to hear how this was a robbery, people. All right. Well, what else can we talk about? I mean, Postol. What about Postol? Do you guys want to see him again? I mean, he didn't look his age. I think he's still. I mean, actually, I would like to see a rematch. If we can't get that Josh Taylor fight, then have Ramirez fight Postol again. What's wrong with that? It was an okay fight. It wasn't boring. On the telly says, I want to see Josh Taylor against Spence. Jesus. Box Burn says Taylor is better than Prograis. Prograis is better than Postol, and Postol is better than Ramirez. Whoa. He's all the way the back of the line. The Major says Prograis admires his own work too much, doesn't throw enough. That's true. Lubac says, I wonder how Teofimo Lopez does at 140. We'll see, man. The guy's struggling to make 135. Oh, well, Jimmy, what's up?
What's up, boys? Johnny, how you doing, kid?
Yeah, man.
I
Welcome
follow
back.
you on Twitter, man.
Johnny. He went to he's having a smoke or something. Yeah, he's on Twitter, man.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, oh man, did you warn him?
Well, I told him he was gonna get blocked.
Yeah,
I told him he won't last. He won't last.
No, they'll whack his ass. And the thing is, he won't even think he's being bad. He'll be like, all right, I'm gonna cool it down. He'll say something. Somebody will fucking be angry and rat on him, because that's what it is. It's not like Twitter's searching for you. Actually, there is keywords. I guess they have a program written for FAGGOT. I don't want to say it out loud, so in case YouTube does that. That word, transvestite, trainee. There's a bunch of them. Somebody sent me.
Yeah, or anything that resembles anything that resembles a threat, they take it very seriously. Remember Haymonites got banned for a few weeks? I think it was.
Oh yeah, he got banned twice, I think, didn't he? Yeah, one time for next to nothing. And then I think he got James Woods, man. I just saw a tweet by him the other day, man. I'm shocked he didn't get suspended. He basically came right out and basically threatened, saying, basically about Black Lives Matter, saying, do these people have any clue that the small percentage they are? They realize, like, basically he's going on saying white people are the wealthiest, most well-armed people in the country, and they're going to regret it. And he out now threatened them. It was crazy. I'm surprised they didn't take it down. The minute I read it, I was like, wow, that's going to get him suspended, because they've suspended his account. Yeah, that fucking, I don't even really fuck with it much anymore, because it's gotten so.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed. I think you even said it that a few months ago. You said like you just got tired of Twitter, man. All the
I wanted to see what everybody's saying, but it's, what I don't like is faceless, nameless people, man. People you don't know who they are, and like Haymonites to his ego, or Haymonites, to his, the same as you. You guys don't threaten anybody. People that don't have their picture and real name out. You know what I mean? If you don't have your real name in your picture, and those guys, and they're on Twitter, fuck you, you pussy. But it's like, dude, you're a faceless, nameless screen. You know what I mean? You're nothing. What do you? And they're always the worst. And I just hate that. I hate the cowardness of it. So how was your fucking day, man? What'd you think of the fight?
Well, I thought it was a close fight, but I had Ramirez 115, 113. What about you?
Yeah, same thing. I tweaked it out. He used the.
Well, we were looking at the predictions, and you were the one that got it the closest because you said split decision. So
What was it? A majority, right?
yeah,
Majorities. What's the difference again? A split decision is a majority is two guys opposed to say if one guy has a even
draw.
round and then the
Yeah.
other two judges. That's split decision. Okay. Majority. Actually, that's what I meant. Two judges were going to go one way and one the other. So I actually meant the
Oh,
majority. I
okay.
didn't even need
Well, then you got
split
it.
decision. Not that it matters. Not that I'm not trying to fucking weasel my way. into
Yeah, I
a better
imagine.
thing. I'm just saying. But that's what I actually meant. Two judges would go for Ramirez, and one judge would pick Postol. But I didn't
Yeah.
think it was going to be as close as it was. I thought Ramirez was going to win more, but one judge was going to give it to Postol anyway. So to be honest with my prediction, that's what it was.
Yeah. What do you think about people who say that this fight was a robbery?
No, it wasn't. Well, put it this way. I would venture to say the people saying it are the ones who picked Postol to win. You know, I take that holds more water to me if you said, "Oh, I had Ramirez is going to win," and then at the end, you know what I mean? Like for instance, the first Ward-Kovalev fight, going into that, I had Wood. I picked Wood to win by a robbery. I actually would say, I'm like, they're going to fuck Kovalev. Unless he stops him, there's no way they're going to let him win. I said it on the fucking next
Right.
call-in or the next rounds. Actually Gabe Toyer agreed. He's like, oh yeah, they're not going to Kovalev. So that's how I had it. But so when people are like, oh, you were right, I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't right because I still said I think Kovalev will win the fight, but will get robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a robbery last night. I thought Postol should have got the nod, but it was a close fight, dog. It was a close fight.
Yeah,
Robbery
wait.
to me is a
Oh, I gotta read a super chat. Thank you, Tom, in the chat. He says BDA. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, man. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was gonna say robbery, like, robbery is just, even I would even say, close to robbery at a top level. I mean, Gennady, Golovkin, Canelo won because of the severity of that fight. There was the biggest fight could be made in boxing at the time. All those other factors going into it, I consider that a robbery because I think they fucking hard on that one. I think he was a clear winner. In fact, I don't think there's one legitimate news outlet who said Canelo won that fight. So when you have everybody across the board except for Chavez, he's the only one who said he thought Canelo won. Which brings me to this real quick. The other day when I couldn't speak because I was on the road, but I could listen. I was listening to the show.
Yeah.
Everybody now is kind of like throwing digs towards Gennady. Not you. You were actually one of the guys sticking up for him. But it was kind of like, like shitting on his resume. I was fucking peeling out of my skin. I wish I could tell him, like, is everybody not forgetting? Like, everybody's putting on Canelo. Well, comparing him to Canelo's fucking resume. Canelo, that's Canelo. I'm like, yeah, but he beat Canelo. He fucking, no ifs, ands, or buts. He beat Canelo in that first fight. And that was after he waited Canelo. Canelo waited him out for 2 fucking years. If he would have fought him when they originally made the offer, when he gave up his belt, literally abandoned his belt not to fight him, I think Triple G would have stopped him. I think in 2015, I think he would have I think Canelo knew it. And that's the reason he waited. He saw what we all saw in New York against Jacobs. Age caught up to him just a little bit, all it took. Then he was like, okay, now I'm ready. Which to me, that really bothered me.
By the way, I would just want to say that Brian is on StreamYard and he's been waiting for a long time. So Brian, just go ahead, man.
Okay. Last night, very close fight. I had Postol winning. I thought he boxed well. He utilized the jab. And very early on, Ramirez was doing a lot of feinting, and Postol wasn't buying into it, So he was doing a lot of feinting very early on, and Postol would just flick out the jab. He wouldn't move forward towards him. I thought Postol early on, I thought he boxed very well, and I thought he won a very close fight. I had it 7-5 to Postol, but I could see why judges would give it to Ramirez. Sometimes it just depends on what style you like. If you like to go forward style, but I thought Postol controlled the pace of the fight. So Ramirez didn't look too impressive to me last night.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I had it.
Not really.
I had it 7-5 Postol too, Brian.
Yeah, it's a close fight. It just depends on what you like. But I thought sometimes Ramirez looked very lazy.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, he was throwing single shots. He wasn't throwing punches and bunches. And I thought at times, when you have him on the ropes, put some pressure on him, but he didn't do it.
Right. And when he did, he got
Postol's
success.
movement kept him off too. So
yeah. And when
Postol-
Ramirez actually
Ramirez-
put pressure on the ropes, he was getting success, man. He actually hurt him at some point.
Yeah. Postol moved very well last night too. He was light in his feet.
Right.
He utilized that jab beautifully at times. And I just thought Ramirez, when he should have put up some pressure, he tried to land the single shots, and if it landed, he would go in. If it didn't land, he was hesitant to go after it. So especially on the ropes. So yeah, but I thought the commentary. I watched it in ESPN. I thought the commentary was, especially Ward, was very anti-Postol last night. That was, I bet you if the judges were listening to that commentary, they were like, "Okay, that's another Ryan to Ramirez." Even though, it was a close fight. I don't think it was an exciting fight. It wasn't a boring fight. There was a lot of tactics going on in there, but I was hoping for better for Ramirez. I had Ramirez picked to win it beforehand, so it's not like I'm coming off here as a Postol fanboy.
Yeah,
thought Ramirez would win, so I got that wrong because I think
caller Ramirez agrees with you. He agrees with you. He wasn't happy with his performance either, and he pointed to a lot of the things you're saying. He hesitated. Yeah. He didn't jump in when he thought he had opportunities. He was happy with his strength. He said he was stronger than he thought he was, like himself. In his confidence, he actually let slip do that. He has confidence issues, which you'd be surprised, a lot of fighters do have. A lot of fighters, professional boxers, for reason have confidence issues.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I know. Supposed to when you're sparring, I heard he was sparring. What do you call the other Mexican, the young? He was sparring a lot of him coming up to the fight. What do you call the young boy? I've been high on. What's his
Virgil Ortiz.
Name? Virgil Ortiz. Apparently, he was sparring a lot of Virgil. Going into the fight, so I could see why you'd be hesitant, because Virgil would be the type of guy, if you come in at him and you miss and he hits you one, that's going to hurt you. They should have got somebody more Postol's jabbing and moving. I would have had.
Now, who was sparring? Who was sparring? Who was sparring with Virgil Ortiz? Ramirez.
Yeah, they were sparring each other a lot going into that fight. And Virgil Ortiz is the type of guy. Every single shot he throws is a power shot.
Yeah, he hits hard. I'm really big. I'm high on that kid.
So now we have Jimmy and Brian. Guys, so what do you think about a potential Ramirez-Josh Taylor fight? Who do you have?
I'm more confident in Josh Taylor after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Yeah,
I would have picked Taylor going into that to begin with.
Yeah,
even more now.
Yeah, even more.
That's how I look at it. Yeah, that's exactly how I look at it. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you mentioned that, Brian. You mentioned that Ramirez, he was a little bit lazy at times. Is that what the key here for Ramirez to change? This is what he has to improve on. Just be more active.
If you're a pressure fighter, right? There's different. A lot of fighters have. If you're a pressure fighter, then you have to be more active, especially when you're fighting a boxer. You can't give a boxer time to set up. You had to be on him, and boxers love space. If you're a pressure fighter, you can't give a boxer space, and that's what he did last night. He gave Postol too much space, and he gave him too much time to think. And you don't want to do that to a boxer. You're in his face, and you make it hard for him every single second of every round. That's what he should have done last night. He should have been busy.
So, Carly, do you agree that once again Postol's lack of inside game cost him another fight? Because I think if he had more inside ability or mid-range ability, could have dominated more into. It's when they're getting close, he just.
Yeah, well, he comes from a European boxing style. I tell you that now. In amateur boxing, they don't really do inside fighting. As soon as let me explain that, right? As soon as two fighters get on the inside, as soon as referee says break in the European amateurs.
Yeah, we were just discussing that last night, remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the show. We were saying that last night. The Europeans don't train that way. Ukrainians.
Yeah, that's because in the amateur game, referees soon as soon as the fighter's getting on the inside, referees say break. That's why they don't train that way. I think there's a lot of coaches who would love to train that way, but it doesn't really suit styles in the amateurs for European fighters, you know?
And the reason for that, the referees know that an inside game, in most cases, it's to wear people out. You're in tight, you're hitting the body, and those work well. That style will work better with a pro game because you have more rounds to do, put money in the bank. In the amateurs, you have 3 rounds. You got to get it done.
Yeah.
So refs are almost taught to try to keep them fighting. Don't start letting them maul each other. So unfortunately, it doesn't get them ready for the pros.
Yeah, that's where European fighters do come up short. A lot of European fighters do come up short. They're good boxers. They've got good technique. They're straight up. But when it comes to getting in close, and a lot of American fighters, because I think that's how they train in the amateurs, they train on a lot on the inside. I'm not really too knowledgeable on American amateur boxing, but I think there is a lot of inside, so I think it's more encouraged. Put it like that,
Well, you look at American fighters who had a long amateur career. A lot of them have that problem too, the same transition issue. Lomachenko is one of the few guys who actually learned quick. That's why that Salido might have been a loss, but it was perfect for him. He learned so much from that fight.
Oh yeah, something like that. That's like welcome to the pros.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that was like to that. Yeah, welcome to the pros. But yeah,
no. Where are you from, brother? Are you from Ireland?
I'm from Ireland.
I'm having a hot time. Ireland. Okay, what part?
I'm from Donegal, County Donegal. It's up the northwest of Ireland.
North.
Northwest,
country, man. I hope to get back there again one more time before I die. Awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely come. Yeah, absolutely.
Good people. I was there in 2001, all over Europe. That was my last time I was there. Things have changed, I know, since then, but.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot more houses, less fields.
Yeah.
Since then, but yeah.
Back when I went, it was a lot more Irish people. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Oh no, there's plenty of them. There's still
I know.
plenty
I'm
of
being a
them.
douchebag. I'm just being a jerk. I'm just being a jerk.
I'm
just being I'm just being an idiot.
No worries, man. It's grand.
Hey, did any of you watch the Erislandi Lara fight?
No, I didn't. I don't even know who won the thing yet.
Me neither. I'm just asking.
No,
I don't know.
Telling you, I was tired last night. I fell asleep at around 10 o'clock. The only reason I watched the Postol fight when I woke up this morning. I didn't watch it live. So.
Nah, who cares?
Yeah, me too. I watched it this morning.
Oh yeah, Brian, you didn't tell us what you thought about that Dubois fight. Dubois.
I didn't see it. I was sleeping.
Oh, didn't see it? Oh, okay. Well, there you have it.
Last night.
Nobody cares.
But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll watch it after the show. So.
No, there's not much, but yeah, just watch it.
Yeah.
Dubois didn't have anybody in front of him, basically. I don't even know what the point of that fight was. Listen, we're gonna have the Joe Joyce fight in October, so then we'll start. Then we'll see how good Dubois is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I saw Joe Joyce last fight. That guy's slow as. He's a good puncher. He's got good aim, but he's slow as.
Slow, man. That's what I was saying, man.
It's very
too much
slow.
muscle. Too much muscle.
What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too much muscle,
Too much.
too much heavy weights. You need to do more calisthenics, get away from the weights.
A little bit like Joshua did in that Ruiz
exactly.
rematch. Lean.
Exactly.
I mean, you're a boxer. You're not a bodybuilder.
Well, wait, just Joyce now.
always-
He's not a young man anyway. I know that much.
Who?
So, Joyce.
Oh, Joyce. No. Yeah, Joyce. No. He's 35.
Something around that day. Not,
Came to the game late though, didn't he?
Yeah, he came in very late to the heavyweight game, so I don't think that's always a good thing.
No, but I mean, you can get away with it in the heavyweight division, especially this heavyweight division. I don't think it's that deep. I think the competition isn't that good, the skill level.
Yeah, I think there's 5 or 6 fighters out there that are clearly better than the rest, and then there's probably two elite fighters in the heavyweight, and the rest are, there's the other 4 just below that.
Yeah,
4
I
or 5
agree.
are just below that, and then everything under that then is like anyone could beat anybody.
Yeah.
That's how I look at the heavyweight division. It's not a very
Think
deep.
about it. No, man, if I was a big dude and young right now, I'd go into boxing. Even anyone halfway decent is going to become wealthy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
Just
no,
stick with it.
it is great.
So lean in talent right now.
Yeah,
Hey, what do you? I know we're changing topics, but what do you think about? I think that OBC wanted to create a new division, so that heavyweight and super heavyweight division. I think the limit would be
I've been calling
220.
for that forever. I've been calling for that forever.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Same way as in amateurs, dude. Come on. I understand it's heavyweight. Somebody says, well, heavyweight, but that's equivalent to like, you know what I mean? Imagine being like 5'7", 140-pound guy fighting 5'11", 6', 180-pound guy. In some case, that's what it's like. You know what I mean? Well, back in the day, it really was an issue when you think about like Rocky Marciano, his heaviest weight he ever fought was 190. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the heavyweight champion in the world. So, Muhammad Ali was considered a huge heavyweight at 6'3".
Yeah.
Is he 6'3"? Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
6'3".
huge tall heavyweight. And then Foreman
Yeah.
came along, Ken Norton, and a bunch of guys in the 80s came along, and they were like the era of the big guys. Nowadays, it's freaks. Fucking circuses come to town.
I understand what you're saying, and that's why the Olympics they have that super heavyweight division. But isn't there something about the heavyweight division where it's that division where like you have it's unlimited basically? Now it's not longer unlimited in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, who
Well, you
would
can make it.
just
can
one
make
thing,
it
Jimmy.
big.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah, but it's like it's gonna be. What I'm trying to say here, Jimmy, is that the heavyweight division, the one with the limit of 220, is gonna become the new cruiserweight division. And you know what happens with the cruiserweight division? Nobody really cares about it. It's in the shadows.
Fuck me.
Well, I would.
Right.
Okay,
Does
another time.
boxing need more divisions?
All right. All right. Sorry, but Jimmy, you were gonna say something?
I was just going to say, I would make it a small heavyweight division, meaning like I wouldn't do it just a 10-pound increments. I would have it, say cruiserweight goes up to 200. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Is it 200 pounds?
200.
Is that the limit? Okay. I would do heavyweight 200 to 235, and anything over 235 is super. Because then it's like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's only 10 pounds. So it's, guys can make it in there if they want. Because like Wilder, he would never, ever fight over 235 again. Because he would that would eliminate. And then Tyson Fury would never get it below 235, so he'd be a super heavyweight division. Because in actuality, I mean, think about it. If you're 5'11", 210 pounds, how are you going to fight somebody? I mean, you could, I guess, but at 6'9".
Yeah, that's that's what kills me with these fucking kids that don't know what the Well, what do you think fucking Rocky Marciano would have done against Wilder? Bro, if Marciano was fighting today, he'd be fighting fucking Caleb Plant, bro. Stop it.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, Joe Louis. I mean, this guy was also small. He was a cruiserweight, basically.
He'd be fighting fucking, if Marciano was around today, he'd be fighting fucking Joe Smith Jr.
No, he'd be a cruiserweight or light heavy.
Hey, but by the
Yeah,
way,
but that was a
if they did create a heavyweight division between like, I think the plan is from 200 to 220. So let's say they create that division. I think a lot of heavyweights that are in that division will try to move up to super heavyweight because that's where the money is gonna be at. No, because that's the thing with heavyweight though. When you're a heavyweight champion, that heavyweight champion has this aura of, I don't know how you call it, like you're the king of of boxing. You're the heavyweight champion. So being just a heavyweight champion when you have a super heavyweight division, it's gonna take away some of the glamour. So I think a lot of these boxers again will be moving up to super heavyweight.
I also
Yeah, but
watched Dave Way.
I think the heavyweight. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, call. Absolutely, call and talk away, bro.
No, I think the heavyweight division is so short. Anyway, what do we need more divisions?
Yeah,
around
it's
it?
true though. That's like we were talking about it. No, Brian, we were just talking about the division. It's shit. Now you're gonna separate it into. Yeah.
Like.
Well, one thing I am into, one thing I'd recommend, Carla, seriously, for the smaller divisions, it eliminate weight bullies, same day weighing.
Oh yeah. No, that I agree, Jimmy. That I agree with.
Yeah,
but it would create so much chaos.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday on Dee's channel.
Same day weighing.
Yeah. Well, the argument against it is, well, it's dangerous for the fighter, and I'm like, bullshit. It's more dangerous now because guys are really fucking with it. They're trying to get so thin with their, people have packed out on the scales and shit.
Yeah.
They're like being helped up onto the stage because they know they have 24 hours to sleep and pack on weight. So they manipulate the fuck out of it. So they're doing just as much damage to themselves that way. Like same day weigh-in. Mickey fought in both styles. He fought same day weigh-in and he stayed at 140 and he stayed at 140 when they went to they switched over to next day.
Yeah,
but the weight that he was comfortable with and stuck there.
Yeah, I don't think Mickey would be, he wouldn't have been too far over the weight anyway. I think he would have made 140 comfortably enough. It doesn't matter if it was same day or
Yeah,
the day
exactly.
before.
He walked around at 155, 158, so he only had to lose 18 pounds. He always stayed in fighting shape, so exactly.
Yeah.
So it's only the issue for these guys like Broner. Did you see that arrest photo for Broner? He looks like the fucking movie Aliens ready to burst out of his belly.
Jeez.
Looks like he's 8 months pregnant.
What was it? DUI, was it?
He's on a fucking Brian. He's on a PO hold because he didn't fucking do something for his probation for hitting that.
Well, what happened, Johnny? Right? Dude. Check this. Because he's so arrogant and he thinks he doesn't listen to anything. He thought it was a joke. I mean, how is that a joke? He was awarded, the woman he sexually assaulted was awarded $800,000. You know why she won that case for $800,000? Because he didn't even send a lawyer to the hearing. He just blew it off. She was suing him. And when you don't show up and you just ignore it, they fucking they award the fucking person. And they gave her full damages. And so when he was probably notified, okay, dumb, now you blew it off. You didn't take it serious. You owe this bitch $800,000. And the thing is, that dude ain't probably got $8,000 to give. So he just blew it off, and now he's going to keep serving time until he pays her. And he's going to eventually have to file bankruptcy because he's never going to come up with that kind of money.
Jesus.
Yeah, piece of advice to all the little hoodlums out there. If you got a fucking court date, you got a subpoena, you got to go, bro. That's it. Unless you're facing fucking 20 years or 25 years, then you skip town and don't show up. Other than that, you got to go.
Yep, that's fair.
And he also owes a jeweler $500,000.
Yeah, that's still going on, huh?
No, he wants $10 million for his next fight.
Gee, 800,000.
Yeah, he wants $10 million for his next fight.
That's why I put
You'll
that
never
fucking
fight
video
Thurman
up.
style.
That's why I put that fucking. That's why I put that video up last night. I'm like, because I was watching the Max Kellerman show on the fucking ESPN last night because I DVR'd it or whatever. I'm like, and they had interviewed Sean Porter on there, and I'm like, you want to know how to behave in and outside of the ring? Look at Sean Porter, bro. The dude's a fucking classy guy. He constantly fucking brings it, never makes a peep. He's a real throwback fighter. That's how you behave yourself, not like these fucking jackasses like fucking Boner and the Charlo sisters, and that's how you behave yourself. Yeah.
What's
That's what he said, Broner.
what's the major difference? What's the major difference with him? Father was in his life, his whole
Exactly.
life.
Exactly.
That makes a difference. That makes a difference. Broner's father was in and out of jail. That was never around. Wasn't in the house. And even Tupac himself said it. I grew up and I wouldn't have gotten in none of the half the trouble I got into if I had this. You know, it makes you insecure as a man not to have a father in your life. That's what psychologists say.
And
That's the
aggressive.
driving factor.
I don't know why aggressive as well. That's what I heard.
Yep. Yep. No, it is. It's aggressive. It's part of it. It's because you're trying to prove something to somebody who's not there.
Interesting.
Imagine you're a kid in school, right? And you go, my dad could beat your dad. Well, I don't know my dad. You know, like
yeah,
that,
that's fucked up, man.
You know, like that,
right?
That could fuck with your head, like, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, and then you feel like then you got something to prove.
I mean, just statistics bear it out. I mean, if you're raised in a fatherless home, you're 9 times more likely to be arrested, 20 times more likely to be involved in the criminal justice system, 20 times more likely to drop out of high school. They've kept enough of records now. It's factually there to see.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty much if you don't want to become, graduate high school, get a job, and don't have kids until you're married. And you know what I mean? It's really a simple plan, but it's kind of true. You know, these kids popping fucking children out in high school is just insane. You're a child raising a child. Then what ends up happening. When I used to be a bouncer, dude, it was classic, man. Girls would come there, right? And it's Thursday, and I'm checking IDs at the door, and a lot of these chicks would give their fucking food cards or their welfare cards for ID, right? And you're looking at it, you're like, okay, so it's Thursday night at midnight. What the fuck are you doing out when you got 2 kids at home? What ends up happening, like Chris Rock said, they end up calling their fucking mother Pam and their grandmother Mom.
Right. Right. That's fucked up, man. In the chat, Brotherhood saying that the Charles grew up with their father. Stop the fake news.
I didn't say nothing about the Charles.
Yeah, I don't know. Were we talking about the Charles? Or because I don't understand.
I said Broner.
Yeah, we're talking about Broner.
Here. First of all, nobody said a fucking word about the Charles. We were talking about Broner, you dickhead. And second of all, what the fuck would you know about it anyway, you stinky dreadlock fucking little John looking cocksucker?
All right, let's calm down. Let's calm down. Everybody calm down. This is a family show. This is
calm
a family.
down, Johnny boy.
Family show.
Well, I don't like that fucking kid.
All right. How do we end up talking about fatherless people?
Adrien Broner came up.
All right, right. Adrien Broner came up. Yeah. Yeah, this guy's a mess. I don't know. I don't know.
Brotherhood, let me ask you a question. If you had a son,
no.
Hopefully you don't, but if you did, what would you rather him grow up to be like, Broner or Sean Porter? Let me ask you that. Answer the question. Don't dance around it, neither.
Waiting for an answer.
That's a good question.
So we're talking about, I don't know, we ended up talking about Broner. We were talking about the weight divisions, the super heavyweight division. Oh, yeah, same day weigh-ins. Now, if they implement that, it's gonna create a lot of chaos in boxing because there's a lot of most boxers can't even make. They shouldn't even be fighting in their current divisions. I mean, if you have same day weigh-ins, they'd be moving up maybe even 2 divisions.
Davis would. Gervonta Davis would have to fight at 140 minimum, maybe even welterweight.
He's small, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's 5'4".
Yeah, it would eliminate. Like Jared Hurd would have never fought at 144. Canelo would have never fought at 144. You know, all those guys who were pulling shit like that, they would have had to fight. Like Gennady would have fought at 160 because he's always been 60.
Yeah, only a few guys would stay in their current division.
Exactly, just a handful.
Damn, that's insane.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, what was the reason why they changed that rule? Do you know?
They thought that because just people trying to, fight to get on to make their weight earlier in that morning, and they thought it was leading to health issues, but they didn't see the
Wow.
force. See, they did it. They started like most things have started under the the flag of for the good reasons, but it ends up getting manipulated because what ended up happening, boxers manipulated it anyways. They're even doing crazier shit to make lower weights. There was no such thing as weight bullying prior to that because you couldn't weight bully. You couldn't do that. If you didn't make that weight that day, forget about it.
Weight bullying is a new term in boxing. That's one of these new terms that go around like, something that people didn't hear about because people didn't really care as long as people made weight and the fight happened 20 years ago. So it just seems like another new trendy term. That's what weight bullying sounds like to me. I think of two guys make weight, the fight happens, better man wins, and that's where my expertise goes off of that. So
yeah,
but I understand the manipulation because once you make weight, then you go for a meal, and you gain weight very, very quickly. And I understand that's unhealthy, especially doing it in a very short period of time. Putting on that amount of weight on a very short period of time is not good.
Absolutely. I still remember Arturo Gatti against Joey Gamache.
Camacho.
Oh, Jesus,
that was insane. He put on 20 plus pounds, something in it.
Yeah.
That
was the same day. That wasn't same day weigh-in, wasn't it?
No.
That was overnight. That was the 4 weigh-in.
Yep.
He
looked so much bigger, man.
Over 24 hours to do that there. Imagine doing that there within 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big difference. No, I don't even know why they came up with that. It doesn't make fucking sense. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, you can hit a wall so much faster when you do that because what ends up happening, thinking about it, you're training, right? You're in camp training at that lower weight. Usually the last week going into the fight, you shouldn't be more than 3-4 pounds tops over the fight weight. Say you're fighting at 140. That last 10 days, you're probably fighting, sparring and everything. Your body's getting used to a certain weight. And then all of a sudden, within 24 hours, you put on 22 pounds. That can be a shock to the system. You don't usually feel it in the first few rounds. Then all of a sudden, bang, your arms can get heavy and legs. Depends on where you put it in. If some guys put it on their legs, it's not as bad. Put it upstairs, all up in your shoulder girdle and your arms. They start feeling heavy quick.
Yeah.
Didn't Roberto Duran say he had that same problem against Sugar Ray Leonard for the second fight, that he had a bunch of weight, then he had to lose it all of a sudden, that type of thing as well? That's his excuse for saying no mass.
Yep.
Well, he had a million excuses.
He was gonna get hurt.
He had tons of excuses. I don't know which one was the real one.
But how's everybody doing? So sorry I'm a bit late, but I had to leave a little bit early because, as Bucho said, I had to do some choppy sound effects on my stream. But I hope everything's okay now for everybody.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Fine.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny because Bucho mentioned about the Joey Camacho because you think, he came like 19 pounds over. Was the original fight, I assume, at 140? I'm assuming.
Yes.
So he jumped from 140 past 147. Past 154 and pretty much into the 160 middleweight.
He almost killed the guy, man. That knockout was crazy, man.
Well, if you read Joey Camacho's Wikipedia, I can't remember, I read it the other day, funny enough. The last part, it says there's a rule actually was changed because of that fight, because Joey Camacho's career was finished after that fight. But the rule was implemented. I don't know what the rule was. Sorry, my ignorance, guys. If you just check it, you'll find it. But some sort of rule was implemented due to that weight advantage.
Oh, I don't know which rule that was. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
if somebody knows in the chat, let us know.
Yeah, I can't remember what the rule was, but it was obviously to do with something about the weight aspect.
Yeah.
But I'm still waiting for Brotherhood's answer to Johnny Boy.
Oh, I don't know. Johnny Boy and Brotherhood are having a debate in the chat.
No. I just asked. All I asked was, I said, who would you rather your son grow up to be like, Broner or Sean Porter? That's all I asked. Naturally, hang on. Naturally, he turned into a fucking mute all of a sudden when I said that. Now he doesn't got nothing to say.
Well, now he's saying something. He's saying Josh Taylor is a weight bully.
Yeah, but he still hasn't answered Johnny Boy's question, though.
I know.
I mean, I'm not being funny. You look at Broner. I mean, if Broner had a dad, I wonder if Broner would have been more successful without his dad, because his dad hasn't done much for him if the way he's carrying on in life, isn't it?
Stability, very important, especially in a
Well,
sport
of
like
course.
boxing. I mean, look at Mike
Hey,
Tyson.
brotherhood, brush my hair. Brush my hair.
Well, the fact he has what 5 or 6 kids by 8 different. I mean, 5 kids or 8 kids with 5
Yeah,
different
that's
women.
unbelievable.
It's terrible. I don't give a fuck even if you're making your child support, which I guarantee he's not. It doesn't matter. Kids
You
aren't
don't think he
fucking
is?
craving child support. They want their father. And how do you spread that around? How are you there for 8 different fucking kids? You're not.
Jimmy, are you saying Adrien Broner will be fighting until the age of like in his 40s or something?
Yeah, but he'll be doing. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, think about what he's
it's
gonna do.
true. Yeah.
Job, right? No, he will be. He'll be one of those dudes you'll be seeing fighting on some fucking, local club.
Damn.
400 people in there. Oh yeah, he'll. I mean, what else is he gonna do to make money?
Who are we
He's
talking
gonna
about?
either
He's
have
not like
to
Meldrick
swing
Taylor.
If he's not in jail.
That's what I was saying.
Who, Broner?
Yeah, Broner. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Or he
thing
might
with
be doing,
Broner,
or he might be doing some Uber riding.
yeah. The thing with Broner, you feel like when he was younger, he was so talented.
Yeah,
You
40
just feel
division
like
champion.
He should have stayed
Yeah.
at lightweight. Should have stayed at
Yeah.
lightweight 140. Man. Go ahead.
Yeah, that guy, you just feel like he was so talented when he was younger. You just feel like that guy, he's such a waste of talent.
Yeah.
Like I was in Broadway when I was younger. I thought, he's, here's a good boxer here. Then I saw his career progress. I'm like, you know what? Geez, you're just a waste of talent.
That's what happens. When you
You
have all these
every
men around you.
opportunity he took to fuck himself over, he did it.
Will Broner look back at his career and go like, I should have taken this more seriously?
I'm
it's
sure
not
he's
even
saying
that,
it
but
now.
The thing is, though,
Think about
Yeah,
it.
probably.
but
He
since
left.
Marcus
He's
Madonna
left so far. He's
stepped up
left
to-
$40 million on the table. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking over the caller. Sorry, brother.
Who's there?
No,
Here.
all I'm saying, Johnny Boy, my friend. I mean, all I'm saying, brother, is that since Marcus Madonna, Broner just went downhill from that point.
True.
Since the Argentine assassin put him in his place, that was it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something too. Yeah, but does he have the self-awareness to even realize he's wasting his career? That's my point.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe he doesn't even realize
Well,
it. Yeah.
Well, something must bother him because he goes through those deep, dark, he goes through bouts of depression. I mean, he's tweeted about wanting to commit suicide.
Oh, right.
He's tweeted things along those lines before, you know what I mean, in his Instagram page. So I'm sure that's not over guilt of not being a good dad. He's a narcissist, so I'm sure it's like, fuck. He thinks about, he turned down that Rock Nation deal, $40 million up front for fucking, what, a 10-fight deal contract, and he turned it down to stay with Al. And the same thing with Deontay Wilder. If he would have got that $120 million from the zone, he would have already had that money. So right now, somebody added it up the other day. I saw it. It was like right now he still is $49 million off from that. And that's money he would have already got. He's never going to be able to make that money up ever.
Yeah.
The thing is, don't none of these boxers have any brains and just get a financial advisor. They would advise you. That's what they're. There's like a lawyer. A lawyer will tell you what to say in court, and FA will tell you how to save your money. That's all it is.
See, and that's what Al Haymon claims to be. He's an advisor.
Yeah,
that's
it's
his
true.
thing. I advise my guys to take care of their money, and he doesn't.
Terrible.
He doesn't fucking help.
Terrible advisor, then, I should say.
What he did is he found a loophole in the fucking Muhammad Ali Act. He fucking says he's one thing and he does something else. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, here everybody. Al does this for me. Al does that.
I've never heard Al Haymon speak.
Yeah, what does he sound like?
I mean, to me, it's disgusting when you see people like Thomas Hearns or Iran Barkley, got hardly, and we got more money than them. And you think, what the hell's going on? You guys were like 3 division, 4 division, 5 division champions. You were our idols, and now look at you, man. You line up in the same McDonald's that we do.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Well, and that's the sad thing about Joe Frazier too. Joe Frazier, when Joe Frazier passed away, he didn't have nothing.
Yeah, he was living at his gym.
He was living in the fucking boxing gym, dog.
Yeah, exactly.
in the fucking ghetto in Philadelphia.
Damn.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's the common denominator. That's not the outlier. That's how most of them are. Most guys.
What was the percentage, Jimmy?
Within
80%.
Well, 80% end
Holy
up filing.
shit.
80% file personal bankruptcy back in the day. Same thing with baseball. I mean, not baseball, but football. 75% of pro athletes file bankruptcy within 10 years of retiring.
Yeah.
Holy
only
shit.
5% of professional fighters make top money anyway. So, that's even at that that's a short pool. That's a very short pool of people. That's a very small number of people who make that amount of money, and 80% of them go bankrupt. It's not like it's a big pool of people who make serious money in boxing.
So can we blame Keith Thurman for asking $10 million?
I mean, well, look at Jamal Charlo.
There's no harm in asking, but you got to
personal
know your
wealth.
worth too.
One at a time, Jimmy.
No, I was going to say
Sorry.
Jamal Charlo's personal wealth was $1.1 million, and he bought $600,000 worth of diamond jewelry.
What the fuck, man?
Off Nick the Jeweler, who sells fucking shit stones in the, you know what I mean? That guy from New York, and just because it's all, That's so. What did somebody? Oh, somebody was fucking.
Some people are stupid.
I've got a serious question. Now, I'm not being funny. I'm sorry. I'd like to think I've the truth when I ask this question. Why do so many of these black fighters buy these Rolls Royce and diamond spinning rims and Jesus Christ, know what else? When you're thinking,
hip-hop
why are
culture.
you playing half your cash on crap? I would be surprised. I mean, all right, you don't see many Asian fights, but I'll be surprised if you find an Asian guy in a bumhouse YMCA, for example.
Yeah, hip-hop culture.
Yeah, it's hip-hop culture. Some hip-hop culture.
Exactly.
I mean, some underground.
It's the culture.
Some underground culture. Yeah, this is... I don't know. But don't they rent a lot of it, though, sometimes? They rent...
Well, like Floyd, all his vehicles are leased. He only owns one of those Bugattis. He had 3 at one point, right? Each one of $1 million. 2 of them were leased. His planes are leased. His whole fleet of cars were leased. So you know what I mean? Like, a lot of it. And a lot of Al Haymon fighters, their apartments, their condos, their houses, their cars are run to Haymon because they've usually jacked their credit up so to the point they can't buy it under their own name. So Haymon will have people living in houses he owns. How do you get out of that contract?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Put it this way, a fucking PBC contract is like 70 pages. A top rank contract is like 9.
Don't these assholes know how to read and just like?
But don't they have a lawyer?
Do some Google research, man.
Well, that's what you need. You need a lawyer.
You need a lawyer.
They use language. They use language.
I get that. Why don't they have a lawyer?
Hey, Jimmy, didn't you say that when Al Haymon talked to all these boxers, when there was still part of Golden Boy, Al Haymon probably had Floyd next to him?
Still does. Still
does.
Floyd's been very, very much involved in the PBC. In fact, in an interview recently, he's even starting to say "we" when he discusses a fight involving the PBC. He says, "Well, we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it this." He was always the face. Remember, that's Al's one claim to fame, right? Was that Pacquiao fight where the largest purses ever. He was the lawyer at the time for Mayweather. So Mayweather made crazy bank. So that was his thing. He sat down during a meeting in the beginning of the PBC with Golden Boy. It was him, Richard Schaefer, and Floyd Mayweather. And of course, and you got black kids there sitting there in front of you. We're going to take you in there. We know what you're going through. You're a black man looking out for you. And boom, boom, boom. But I would have said right away, I would have stepped back. If I was black, I'd say, okay, man, this is words. I always go by people's actions. I look how they handle themselves everywhere else. I'd say if this guy is all about the black man, which his fans say he is, then why is his lawyer white? Why is his secretary white? Why is his public relations person's white? Why is everybody in his entourage white? Yeah, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not, fuck it. He's just, you know what I'm saying? But my point is, if he's fucking pro-black, everything's black, and he's always looking up for black people, that's been his fans' claim to fame, then why is everyone that he pays money to work for him white? Almost all of them.
In the chat, Candy Slim 501 says, you guys don't know the relationship between Al Haymon and his fighters. But
No,
Jimmy,
we
you
don't
don't know.
want to.
Anybody say we know the relationship? Nobody's saying we know the relationship. I know he has black fighters. I know his fighters have said Al takes care, and they come out and say it. Gary
They've said
Russell
it,
has
yeah.
said it. Keith Thurman has said it.
Santa Cruz.
So I go by what people say.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz has said.
He named his kid after Al Haymon. Is that true?
I heard that. I don't know if it's true. If
Oh,
they had a
yeah.
daughter, that'd be kind of fucked up. But
Brown nose.
well, look at his public relations person's Kelly. What's her name? She's got a Twitter account. She's a
Right.
blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. His lawyer's redhead, fucking Irish guy. I mean, I'm
Kelly-
not making this
Kelly
shit up. You just
Swanson.
go to the
What's his
fucking.
name?
Yeah, Kelly
Kel-
Swanson. Yeah,
She
exactly.
kicked out Barbershop.
Remember, what's his made a fucking he made
yeah.
a video. Couldn't believe that Al Haymon surrounds himself with all these white people. What the hell is going on?
He was
furious over it.
Jimmy Barbershop was basically asking Al Haymon to fire her. Like, who the hell are you?
Of course he was. having to listen to a white woman. That's exactly.
I was so glad when Kenny Porter slapped that fucking little piece of
Yeah.
shit. Dude.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, but he's married.
Go ahead, Brian.
That he's married to an Asian wife.
No, you're breaking up, man. You're breaking up. Your connection. In the meantime,
An Asian doctor too. She's a doctor.
is it a doctor?
yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
married
she
to
is
who,
a doctor.
sorry?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
So
I-
who was married to an Asian doctor?
Fred from Barbershop Quartet. Barbershop
Oh,
boxing.
Conversation,
That
barbershop conversation.
conversation.
I
That
think
racist fuck. Yeah, Mr. Fucking Pro. I'm Malcolm X, man. Him and I are the same people. Remember his video?
Nah, this
saying
is
that?
a
Yeah.
hustler, man.
Malcolm X wouldn't have married an Asian woman. Doesn't matter that she has a bankroll.
We have a comment from Candy Slim 501 again. He says, "What's your proof? Somebody said all the PBC guys filed for bankruptcy and asked Al Haymon for loans. What's your proof?" Who said? I don't know who said that, but is that even true?
I didn't say that all of them fell bankruptcy. I said professional athletes, boxers in general, not Al Haymon fighters, all boxers in general, like football, like basketball, they tend to spend above their means. And within 10 years, 75% of pro athletes, I think it was 75. It was a Sports Illustrated article. It's not like I'm fucking sitting at home saying, what bizarre shit can I say on BDA to upset people? This is just the fucking facts that are out there. I don't know what the percentage of actual PBC fighters. I know he's lost more fighters than any promoter in the last 10 years. Name another fucking major promotion that has lost as many fighters to other promoters. Nobody's jumping ship from Top Rank to go to Al, except for Pacquiao, and that's only because Bob cut him loose.
Thing is, though, I've got a question now. Like in football, what we call football in England, players get pensions. I think in the NBA get pensions. I'm assuming in boxing there's nothing of that situation, correct?
No.
Oh, okay.
Who wanted to work on that though? Senator McCain. I think he was. Well, he's dead now, obviously, but didn't he want that to happen though? To protect.
Well, it should happen. Listen, if you're paying the WBC in some cases millions of dollars to fight for their cheesy trinket, why shouldn't every fighter there should be? My personal thing is once you hit $100,000 or more on a take home, if it's gross $100,000 or more, I think 5% of your pay should be taken. 5% of your gross should be taken from every fighter, and it should go into a fucking account. And then you have for almost a Social Security, and
right.
even pay for insurance for these guys. You're paying maybe even for your own future. That's just my personal opinion. But telling people to give up their own money is a risky option.
That's the thing, and then I think a lot of fighters would be against that. Like, oh, I can manage my own money. Although obviously they don't, but it's their right. So I don't think they should be forced to do that. But
again, you're not boxers aren't coming out of
I know
Belmont High.
I know.
You know what I'm saying, right? These kids are coming from the ghetto. A lot of them, whether they're white or black, they come from lower socioeconomic background, so they don't have. And all of a sudden, when they have money, they don't understand money isn't And they never figure in the taxes because you get taxed on your wealth. And all of a sudden you're cash poor, but you might have things, and now you don't have the money for the taxes. And then once you get caught up to them motherfuckers, once you're in their pocket, forget about it. Penalties accrue daily.
Jeez.
I was watching we could talk about managers and PBC and that sort of stuff. I was watching oh fuck me, what's his name? Julio Cesar Chavez, and there was a little talk when they were saying that when he left Don King to go to Bob Arum, he was making more money under Bob Arum. Bob Arum was saying this himself than when he was under Don King. And when he went to Bob Arum, he was well past his peak. So that shows you how at that time Don King was ripping off even Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Well, brother, I'll tell you something about Don King, right? Mike Tyson told right in front of me, said this to my face when he was talking to Mickey about how Don King was charging him $8,000 a month for towels. For towels.
What?
Jesus Christ.
$8,000 a month. Don King Promotions was charging him fucking, because finally he went to his lawyer and Bill Clayton broke it all down. He's like, dude, he's charging you. And it would be under like, of course, not written out as towels, but it would be written out under something gear or whatever. But yeah, he was charging $8,000 a month for towels.
Oh, man. The other guy's an ass fucking hole, man. By the way, I just have
his throat slit.
Hold on. Yeah. Hey, no. Candy Slim says, what the fuck are you chatting? Floyd went from Top Rank to the PBC. Mikey Garcia and Maurice Hooker just went to the PBC last week. So Floyd, Mikey, and Hooker.
Hold on. Mikey reneged on his contract with Top Rank. He ended up losing money. He ended up pulling out of that. And Floyd, there was no PBC then. There wasn't PBC. It was just Al Haymon was a lawyer. That's all he was. He wasn't. There was no PBC.
Yeah,
he
didn't go from Top Rank to PBC, and then Maurice Hooker. Yeah,
but let me ask him: how many guys has Al Haymon brought from prospect to pay-per-view style?
None.
He didn't bring Floyd Mayweather there. Everybody tries to credit Al Haymon for Floyd Mayweather's success is absurd on its face. He was on HBO 22 times before he fought for fucking with Al Haymon. He was already Bob Arum did the legwork. He made him a star. He put did all his work to get him there. It was after he got there, and then all Al was the lawyer at the end. But since then, the PBC, how many guys has he taken and made stars out of them? Where are they?
Spence.
Success.
Spence. No, I'm joking. The Brotherhood says it's hard to leave Bob Arum because of that lifetime contract.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, is that like how you mean like how Bob Arum saved Floyd Mayweather's life when Floyd was gonna get the shit kicked out of him by all these gangbangers that come to this gym? Yeah, all right, man, whatever. Arum paid off Floyd's debt.
I don't even know if Bob Arum has lifetime contracts, man. I think
no, there's no such thing. So I mean, he's questioning what we're saying, the validity of what we're saying, and he makes up a fairy tale like that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and I just
what I'm saying, but then he turns around and makes up something that's completely absurd.
And I just told him Sicilians were the white man's bitch when his fucking grandfather was still chasing zebras around the jungle.
Hey, Johnny boy, can I say something, Johnny boy?
Yes.
Right, I'm going to say something about just a very quick thing about history about slavery. It makes me laugh when I hear black people in America talk about slavery about 400 years. Now, this is the funny thing about it. Slavery from Islamic countries was going for 1,200 years against black people, right? Nobody says shit about. I don't know why black people don't say nothing about Islamic countries doing it for 1,200 years. White people stopped it. God knows what last century. It's still happening today in Islamic countries, slaving black people. Yeah, no. Why don't black people talk about that? I have no idea.
This is a topic for this is the second Renaissance. People.
We got to talk about it, and definitely remind me to talk about that.
Yeah, I know that slavery topic.
Yeah. Well, did you know also? I'm going to say one thing on that. You know, this is a historical, irrefutable fact. More white people were taken from Europe to North Africa as slaves than blacks were taken to the United States as slaves.
And castrated as eunuchs. They were a lot of them were castrated by the Ottomans, and used as eunuchs and shit like that. So that's pretty fucking gross. But Jimmy, come on.
I know. And they was in decades after it was ended here, they were still sending them to the Ottoman Empire.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I'll go.
Candice Slim, another comment. Errol Spence Jr. and Tank Davis, are they superstars? I'm gonna say that Spence is becoming one, but I mean, at this point, he should have become like, listen, he's the same age as Canelo Alvarez, so he's a little bit behind now. You know what I mean? Not only in terms, yeah. Go ahead.
Do you think Spence might only become a superstar if he beats Crawford to get the unification, maybe?
Absolutely. Well, if that happens,
absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Then that would be his first guy that he's brought to super. But if you go by his pay-per-view, all right. What about Wilder? If you want to talk about Haymon, every one of Wilder's fights, his pay-per-views, have lost millions of dollars. The fight before the Tyson one, that fight lost $20 million.
Do you think that Al Haymon could have done a better job with Wilder? Now he's 35, so I mean, 10 years ago, well, 25. No, man, he was.
He could have done a better job if he had a handful of fighters. Trying to manage 240 fighters, you can't. There's not enough time slots. You end up having to play favorites. And plus, listen, my thing is this. I hold everybody by their deeds, not by what they say, by their actions. Al Haymon fucking knew he was right there. He was in the office a lot of times when fucking Oscar was all coked up, drunk. They saw it all. He didn't try to help him until, and this is the best part, until he was the one, him and Shaper, talked them in to go into detox a month. You got to get away. No more 24-hour detoxes, because he was doing a couple of hit and runs, sober up a couple of days, come out. They're the ones who talked him to going away for 30 days. You can't have a cell phone. You can't block off the world. So nobody had access to him. So after he talked him into going away for 30 days, brother, while he was gone for 30 days, when nobody could get a hold of him, that's when he poached his whole fucking company.
Amazing.
That is the slimiest fucking move.
Hey, Jimmy, could you imagine De La Hoya getting that phone call?
Oh, hey, fucking Al's here fucking signing everybody from underneath you, dude. Trying to fucking... if he would have got Canelo, he would have folded Golden Boy.
Yeah, but De La Hoya comes out of rehab and then finds this out. I can't imagine his reaction, man.
Wilder, Porter... Wilder, Thurman. He lost so many fighters.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Al Haymon doesn't like his fighters to conduct themselves like Sean Porter. They all got to be loudmouth jagoffs like Charlo and Broner. Then they're okay, But being a normal fucking guy, that's not okay. That's not okay.
Well, I just love how the fans of Al Haymon will sit there and shit on the things that Bob Arum says. You fucking hear what Bob... It's like, yeah, but at least Bob Arum has enough respect for his fans to actually have an interview. Fucking Haymon doesn't even give a fucking... He wouldn't piss on that fucking any of his fans if they were on fire.
Jimmy.
He doesn't even have enough respect for him to give an interview.
Jimmy, at least Bob and Eddie come out and say, okay, well, you caught me up in a lie. I was full of shit. What do you want from me? Al Haymon doesn't even have the balls. Al Haymon doesn't even have the balls to even have a fucking conversation with you.
Does he need to? Does he need to?
Johnny boy, that's called being a man and taking ownership of your actions, mate.
All right, we're gonna take a phone call. 501, you're on the air. 501.
Hey fellas, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? What's on your mind?
My question is whether or not you're taking the Tyson Roy Jones fight seriously.
I'm not, and I don't think anybody should. It's sort of an exhibition fight, but I don't want to speak for everybody. Jimmy, what do you think?
It's an embarrassment.
That's cold.
It's just guys saying
let me ask you a more specific question. Because Roy Jones only fought, I think, one heavyweight title fight against John Ruiz, which is probably the shittiest heavyweight champion we've ever seen. So what kind of odds should be laid for you to take Roy Jones against Mike Tyson?
That's the more
serious of the two questions.
I think Tyson's going to knock him out. Tyson's still quick. He's pretty quick still for an old man.
I don't think they're going to hit each other.
I think that's the sentiment. But what I'm saying is is that at 7-1, do I take that, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Now,
where
my
do you
personal
lay
opinion,
that
laying money on that. See, laying money on that fight to me is risky because who knows what's going on behind the scenes? They might be telling each other, listen, because they can make it look like they're throwing hard, but they're not. When you're that, you know, even you know what I mean. They can make it look like they're in there fighting, but they're really not trying to put each other away. So who knows if do they have that agreement? Let's not try to knock each other out. Let's go the distance. Let's put on a show. You know what I'm saying? So when it's like that, it's hard to lay money because I don't want to lay money on something that what could be just a fucking
wrestling
exhibition.
match.
You know what I mean?
Let me say this real quick to the caller, bro. Just keep in mind, and I love Tyson and Roy, both of them. I love them, you know, especially, you know, I grew up watching them guys, but they're both 50-year-old guys, bro. It's just, here's what it is. Here's what it is, brother.
Right.
It's a glorified sparring session between two 50-year-old all-time greats. That's all it is. Okay. Glorified sparring session with a big name.
They could have that gentleman's agreement.
Correct.
However, all it takes is Tyson to flick the switch because Jones hits him by accident, and we might see the 1986 Tyson mentality come out potentially.
Hello?
Yeah, you there?
No, I'm listening.
Yeah,
he made it a point, right? If Tyson, gets angry and gives him a crack.
Yeah. Caller.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, this is the thing. Like, I was talking to some friends of mine, and at 3-1, it's Tyson all day long. I would put 300 against your 100 to take Tyson all day long. So that was exactly the point of my question is, like, at what point does it become a fair line? And I said it was anywhere from 5-1 to 6-1. Some people said 7-1. I just wanted to know if you guys had an opinion on it.
Anybody have an opinion on that? Listen,
I wouldn't want to steer you wrong, dude. I don't know. I would say, again, it all depends on if they're taking it serious. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's a real fight. I think it's a professional wrestling type of fight. And by the way, I think one of them mentioned that they're not going to try to knock each other out. They don't. They respect each other. They don't want to embarrass the other guy or anything. So no.
I don't want to do that, man. I want to see blood and guts.
If the fight's already an embarrassment, though, like, how do you embarrass the other in an embarrassing fight already?
Good point.
Well, what I mean by embarrassment is it's an embarrassment to the sport, meaning the only reason why they're even able to talk about this, think about if the sport was healthy right now and there was a ton of fucking champions fighting the best. And somebody talked about that, everybody would be like, what? Why? Nobody would even pay attention. Like, why bother? To me, it's like two guys taking advantage of people like us who are willing to spend our fucking Sunday afternoon calling and talking about a sport that's half the fighters don't take it as serious as we do. You know what I mean? And it's an opportunity. People are starving for it. Let's take advantage.
Or is it like the movie Field of Dreams, where we get to relive our childhood memories?
After Tyson and there's a couple more like Lennox Lewis and Klitschko, but after those boys ran away from the heavyweight division has been complete shit. I mean, we have a fatso and Ruiz who knocked out Anthony Joshua. And does this dude even fucking train? Like, how do you come to the ring like that and anybody is supposed to take you seriously? That is the state of the heavyweight division, because if you are 6 feet plus pounds or 6 feet tall and 200 plus pounds, you're probably, if you're any good at anything athletic, playing football or baseball or basketball or anything else, you're not trying to get your head fucking knocked in.
Yeah, Andy, I have to say this. I commended to the caller. I commended Andy Ruiz for going in there and being such a big underdog and upsetting Joshua the first time. But how he displayed himself in that rematch was fucking disgusting.
Disgusting.
You
just got fucking trained.
Yeah, let me.
He should have had his purse taken off him.
Hang on.
Johnny, finish.
You just came off the biggest one of your life. You didn't take it seriously. You went to fucking Taco Bell and ate cheesy gordita crunches all day long. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm the same. For fuck's sake, I'm the same height. I'm the same height as Andy Ruiz, and I look like Big Pussy from Sopranos over here. And I ain't in that bad a fucking shape. Jesus Christ.
All right, caller. Anything else?
And you know what? Like, before Andy Ruiz, you remember Chris Arreola, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Chris Arreola should have been the first heavyweight Mexican champion of the world, but he doesn't want to fucking train either. I mean, the two prominent first to win a heavyweight championship of Mexican American descent, and neither one of these boys want to fucking train. What the fuck is going on here?
Mexican food. That's what's going on. All right, caller, we got to move on, but thank you for calling in, all right,
Them
man?
lazy bastards.
All right. Y'all be good.
Take care, man.
Here, can I say something on that very quick?
Yeah.
Yep. Anthony Joshua didn't take him seriously the first time either.
Yeah, good point.
That's why he got caught.
Good point.
Ruiz was playing the nice guy, you know.
The Brotherhood says
cool.
Ruiz was in great shape. Fake news. What do you mean fake news? Ruiz was even fatter. Come on, what are you talking about? By the way, guys, we have Stu. Stu, are you there? No. Okay,
Yeah.
Stu, jump.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, man?
Looking
How are
for
you?
looking for a light spike the split. I can't fucking find one.
I hit when that happens, man.
Would you have one in the fight last night, brother?
Well, thing is, I was watching it and I fell fucking asleep, didn't I? Fell asleep, man.
Christ.
You know, like I said,
Yeah.
I can't do it no more, Jimmy. Go on, old man, and let's be real. Postol's not exactly fucking fireworks, is he? Yeah,
Dude, I fell
Yeah.
asleep too. I did the same
Right?
thing. I fell asleep in the third round.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, Ramirez looked good for about the 7 minutes I was awake. Look, I heard he come on strong early and then faded in the latter rounds. I managed to catch up on a little bit highlights just a minute ago, just as I can fucking say something about the fight, but didn't have a lot to show of Postol's action. So I mean, I don't know what you've got robbery in the title. I'm not sure about that one.
Well, some
What's
people
the
claim
crack
it
with that
was- Well, some people kited
Oh,
9-3 Postol. Well, a few people.
Did
but
they? Like I said, I'm not going to argue with them because I didn't see enough of the fight for that. But
No.
yeah, I mean, I did tell you that Ramirez wouldn't get the stoppage, and that'd be a unanimous decision, but it was a majority, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a 7-5 Postol, so, you know, but I thought it was a very, very close fight at round. I thought Ramirez could have been a lot more.
I saw nothing from Ramirez to convince me he could stop Viktor Postol. Just nothing. Yes, he's a good little fighter. He's busy.
Ramirez that he could beat Josh Taylor.
Well, let's hear from Gonzalo. Gonzalo, your thoughts about the fight?
Hey, that was a good fight, close fight.
But
I thought that Ramirez won because he landed the harder shots. And although Postol fought well, he was moving a lot. He was basically running, but then he was stopping and he was throwing good flurries. So he wasn't just running. He was moving well, but he was only throwing these little arm punches, furies, with the good punch here and there. You know?
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Sorry, go ahead.
He threw these combinations that were nice to the eye, like they're eye catching.
Right.
And he boxed well, you know, and I don't have a problem if you had him winning, but I just thought the heavier shots, the guy pursuing the action was Ramirez. You heard him in the 7th, heard him in the 8th. You just can't win a fight by winning 2 rounds. I agree. But a lot of people were giving the first rounds to Postol. I don't quite see it like that. Like hands down, you know, okay, Postol swept the first 4 rounds. No, it wasn't that.
Yeah. I had Ramirez winning 3 out of the first 4 rounds. See, that's the difference, though. Some people had Postol already winning the first few rounds. So I was like, okay, well, maybe that made a difference because... Yeah, go ahead.
No. I thought I was mute. I was talking to myself. Sorry, dude.
By the way, we have the Brotherhood. Brotherhood, what's up?
What's up, man? Johnny boy, you pussy for timing me out. You pure pussy.
I think he's gone now.
Nobody even paying attention to your faggot ass. But you want to time me out?
Now this is a family show, and by the way, John is gone. So
was Jordan?
Yeah,
Johnny's not even here, man.
That's what he gonna do. He gonna time me out and then run away like a little puss.
All right. You want to talk boxing?
I was talking boxing till he timed me out.
All right.
I'm tired of his man.
Did you answer the question? No.
Anyways, man.
I don't even want to talk to dude. I haven't been paying attention to nothing he said, and I ain't answering his questions. I ain't at his damn mercy. I ain't got to answer nothing.
All right.
So are you from Texas, bro? Caller, are you from Texas?
No, I'm from Canada.
The Texas area?
Where? Canada.
It's Canadian.
No, you just sound like
Canadian. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Anyways, what are we talking about, guys? Fuck.
Postol.
Postol. Yeah.
Can I tell you my thing on Postol? This is my thing on Postol. He's the type of dude who always does just enough to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just, it's
Feel like
almost like
Badu
makeup in a big
Jack.
fight.
Feel like Badu Jack.
Right?
Badu Jack.
Does just enough to lose.
Right, but easy to draw instead of defeat.
Yeah. Like he likes a draw.
Have you guys spoke about, and you might have spoke about it before I joined on, about Terence Crawford and Kell Brook being offered $1.5 million, so hopefully might potentially go ahead. I mean, I think Kell should hold that for more money, but yeah.
Terence Crawford don't want that fight. That's why he lowballed him.
Come on.
But who else is going to fight Terence Crawford at this stage right now?
Yeah, what's the plan?
His plan is to fight a bomb after bomb until he get Errol Spence. He gonna fight I bet he fight that Disputin dude. What's his name? Alexander Disputin.
Brotherhood, why do you hate Crawford?
But Crawford was undisputed.
He's the best duck. He the best duck in boxing. He make it look like he being ducked, but it's him kind of things making it.
Brother, can I say something to you, right? How come it was after I believe it was after one of the fights, they had a face-to-face and it was on camera. And why did Errol Spence said, why would I fight you when I can take easier fights in the division? He said it to
at the lobby.
Terence Crawford.
Excellent. Why are you asking me about Errol Spence as if I'm his manager or something?
No, I'm asking you if he's a duck. Why did Errol Spence say that?
Is that a duck?
Crawford's fist.
I'm asking you why would I know the answer to that when I'm not his manager?
Well, why are you defending Errol Spence Jr. when he said that?
I didn't say anything about Errol Spence Jr.
Why are you calling him a duck when it was Errol Spence Jr. the man who said that?
So you have an opinion on Crawford, but you don't have an opinion.
He was ducking Errol Spence Jr., bro.
Nah, Errol Spence Jr. said to Terence Crawford's face, he goes, why would I fight you when I can pick easier fights in the division? He said that to Terence Crawford's face.
Do you actually think he meant easier fights, as in like easier to win or easier to make? Which one do you believe?
Easier to win.
Okay, so who's actually been fighting easier fights to win? Crawford or Spence?
The PBC have completely frozen out Crawford.
You didn't answer my question. Who's actually been fighting the easier fighters to beat? Crawford or Spence?
Okay.
Well, they've only fought one fight each since then. So, who was Sean Porter was his last fight?
Just answer this since you ducking right now. Who's easier to beat? Who's easier to beat, Amir Khan or Sean Porter? Who's easier to beat, Amir Khan or Sean Porter?
Amir Khan, I would say.
Khan.
But
who's easier to beat,
Porter,
Mean Machine or Danny Garcia?
Who?
Who's easier to beat, Mean Machine or Danny Garcia?
Danny Garcia.
Yes, he even fought Garcia yet.
Okay,
I don't mean anything.
Now I can take you serious.
No.
Errol.
Wait, hold on. Let Stu say something. Stu, go ahead.
Can I, please?
Yes.
No. Do I have to fucking clock in to get a word in edgeways these days? Look,
clock.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, you're clocked
I'll
in.
bring my clocking card next time. But
Yeah.
look, doesn't matter if who's fought the best. The fact is, they should be fighting each other. Spence doesn't really fancy it. Crawford does. That's where I am. I think Crawford wants to fight. Spence don't. So look, resumes don't mean anything. You could get the guy with the worst resume ever against a guy with the best resume in the division. When they get together, the one with the worst resume gets the resumes don't mean anything when they're competing with each other, and that's what we want to see.
Hey, Stu.
But
Can I
so
say
do you
something
think?
to you, Stu?
Let me ask you this: do you think Charlo deserve a fight with Canelo?
No.
No. And I will watch the reason. I bet it's his resume.
Canelo knock him out. He doesn't even deserve to be in the same conversation. Never mind the same ring.
So you saying Charlo resume doesn't grant him a fight with Canelo, right? The same thing you trying to say the opposite of when it comes to Crawford.
Well,
how much competition there is
one at a
between
time.
Canelo.
Go ahead, Kenshiro.
What is that? Look how much competition is between Canelo and Charlo in terms of how many people there are ahead of Charlo. Between Spence and Crawford, how many people in between them two? I think they're number 1 and 2 respectively. So number 1 should fight number 2.
Yeah.
What Crawford do to make him number 2?
He unified the
by being a unified, undisputed champion, something that's so rare. Even the WBC president Suleiman, when he made that belt, that silver belt or whatever that ridiculous belt he made, and they said, "But doesn't that screw up the undisputed?" Oh, come on, nobody really does that. Nobody's trying to do that anymore. The fact that Crawford was the undisputed, that means he had all the belts. How can you say somebody at 140 who had every single belt was ducking people? It's just on itself. It's just, how could that happen? You can't have all the belts if you're ducking
people at 140. He definitely doing it at 147.
At 140, but listen, at 147, there's been paperwork that's been sent to Spence. He has gone publicly, walked up to him in public and said, "I want to fight you next. Whatever, let's do it." There's no doubt about it. Spence is the one negating that fight. He's the one holding that fight from happening because he has his in-house, because Al gets paid on both guys when it's an in-house fight. But the bottom line is Spence and Crawford should be fighting. They're the two best guys, and one guy is trying not to make the fight and the other guy is trying not to make the fight. And that's all I know from that.
And again, what did I ever say about Spence? I never said Crawford was ducking Spence, but he is everybody else.
At the very beginning, you called Crawford a duck.
Yes, he ducking Thurman, Garcia. He ducking Brook.
He made off, bro. I know for a fact. He made $4 fucking $1 million.
You put words on.
I gotta say something.
Thurman's not worth $10 million.
Hey, Brucho. Can I say something, dude? Fucking, he offered fucking.
Thurman asked for $10 million.
Hold on. Jimmy, go on.
Top rank sent contracts to Garcia. $4 million, sent $4 million contract offer to fucking Thurman, to both of them. Thurman said, "I'll do it for $6." Bob turned around, offered him $5. He was ready to do it. It was not this summer, when we're in now, obviously. Last summer, it came that close to being signed. And at the last minute, Thurman pulled out. So that negates that right there. He did offer a fight to Thurman. Thurman reneged. Then he offered one to Garcia. Garcia was very close to take it, and then he backed out. So now that's the two. So now he's on his third fucking PBC welterweight who wants nothing to do with them.
No, try again, because first of all, he's trying to say that.
Try again
what?
Oh, right, cut me
try
off.
Again what? He sent contracts to these people. These people said they wanted to fight, and then when the contract was signed, sent to them, they said, "Nah, never mind."
Brotherhood says, "Go ahead, that's not true."
I'm trying to call him, mate.
Brotherhood saying it's not true. Brotherhood, why not?
Look, they trying to. You see, they trying to say Sean Porter is not worth his time because Sean Porter is coming off a loss and he's not a champion, right? Well, guess what? When they sent Danny Garcia that bogus contract, which was sent to Angel Garcia, who's not a manager or a promoter, he's a trainer. Why would you send a contract to somebody who don't deal with contracts if you're actually serious? Plus, Danny Garcia was coming off a loss and he was not a champion at that time. So instead of sending a contract to Porter, who just beat Garcia and became a champion, you sent one to the loser and the non-champion. But now all of a sudden you got a problem with fighting people that don't got belts and they coming off losses. So that's a contradiction right there.
Well, let me
And
address that.
Keith
My
Thurman
point is, you're
obviously
saying
had a fight with Pacquiao on the table. If you're talking about last summer, so why would somebody pick Terrence Crawford over Pacquiao in the fight? That makes absolutely no sense.
Okay,
It was after the Pacquiao fight, and he was offered, but you said he was ducking all these guys. Offers were made to two that I know of. Garcia and Thurman were offered contracts, and they turned them down.
Yeah. Crawford's ducking no man. There's not a man on this planet that Crawford won't fight. I'm telling you now, Crawford is a fighter's man. He's a true fighter. He's no, at the end of the day, he'll fight any man. It's up to Bob to get the deals done. And right now, with these PBC fucking divas, it's impossible to get done really with these guys. I mean,
He's saying when he sees Stu, he's saying now when he sees fucking Gary Russell Jr. in person, he's gonna punch him in the face.
Listen, I don't blame him. Listen, when I see Gary Russell Jr., I'm going to punch him in the face. I just don't like the fucking guy. I mean, it's always coming popping out of the fucking woodwork like some little fucking woodworm. Every 2 years, he decides to pop out the woodwork with his fucking his little pinhead, and then he wants to fight someone like Terrence Crawford, who would absolutely mutilate him. I mean, if Terrence Crawford actually takes that serious, then maybe, maybe I should start getting on his back a little bit, because he needs to be worrying about the big boys at 147, not some little fucking guy.
Well, I guess from what Crawford said, I guess Gary Russell Jr., if I heard it correctly, said he threw a sucker punch at out in public. He threw a punch at Crawford once, and then
he actually said sucker punch.
Yeah. Look. I don't even know why Russell. There's nothing. There's nothing.
I'm saying this
blindside. There's nothing impressive about blindsiding. You can't just blind someone and sit there. Look at me. Look at the power I've got. Yeah, he didn't fucking see it. He weren't looking. He was looking at his fucking newspaper or something. Get out of here, man. Blindsiding people. I've got no time for that. I hope Gary Russell gets his fucking ass whooped.
But I was saying that, dude, to like what you were saying, how you were saying Crawford's a true fighter. I agree. I think he's a street fighter. Crawford's the type of dude he'd be fighting whether he was getting paid or not.
Yeah, and that's why fighting comes natural with Crawford. He's a proper fight. That's why he can fight southpaw as well. Just a proper fighter. I just think signing for Bob. Hang on a minute to me, please. Signing for Bob it was a good move, but in a way, it's hindered his career a little bit, because Bob's Haymon had all the top guys at 147. He's sort of like pushed himself out of the limelight by doing that, and he's been left with scraps and cannon fodder, isn't he? Like Amir fucking Queen Khan and fucking Benavides, the Mexican Forrest Gump. Who else was there? The fucking Cuban midget in Gamboa. I mean, he makes Gary Coleman look like a fucking basketball player. He does. So look, this is a problem with Terrence Crawford, just a poor resume, and that's why people from the other side will keep sticking the boot in until he fights someone from their side. I think
also now sort of PBC have seen how Wilder's got exposed and their heavyweight aspects gone into disarray. I wonder if they're trying to protect Spence in that capacity as well.
I think so. I think they're trying to protect their most valuable asset at this moment, which is Errol Spence Jr. They don't want him in the ring. And they don't want any of their other fighters exposed by Terrence Crawford, because as far as I'm aware, Furman wants $10 million to fight Crawford. He ain't getting $10 million. Bob ain't going to take $10 million out of his pocket.
We know at one time Thurman was worth $10 million at one time.
At one time.
Hold on.
Wouldn't it be smart to wait to see how Spence looks after the accident
against Danny Garcia? Is that so? That's what I'm saying. Is that not a dangerous fight in your opinion, guys? Like Danny Garcia?
Especially, we don't know how he's going to react to punches after the accident, right?
I don't even know who he's sparring. Like, is Errol Spence Jr. sparring at the moment? Like, I don't even know who he's sparring. I don't even know I don't even know. Like, I won't make a prediction on that fight until I see them on the weighing scales. That's pretty much where I am with that.
When is the fight again?
That's not for another couple of months. November. I think it's November 13th or something like that. There, November.
Well, Brian. Well, he's not sparring. I think he's just cutting the weight.
Yeah, maybe.
In the chat, Elias says, "Why do the LDBC dislike Crawford? Is it because he's signed with Bob Arum?" That's a good question.
Of course it is.
Possibly.
Yeah,
they might think he's an Uncle Tom, maybe.
His minions are upset because he controls.
He's the British version of Anthony Joshua. Best way I can put it. For them. Same for Eddie Hearn. That's the best way. That's the best way I can put it. You know. So he's the American version of. the American version of Anthony Joshua.
So if Crawford was signed with the PBC, it would be a different story.
It'd be a different story for them anyway. And they would control the welterweight division.
You mean hold it to ransom, right?
Yes. They're doing that anyway. They're holding back a unification fight. That's basically what they're doing. They're holding back one of the fights the world wants to see, and that's Crawford Spence.
There's enough. All right, goes to.
I was just going to say, this is why Al Haymon is not good for boxing. I mean, Jimmy's been preaching it since time began, and so have I. I mean, the guy's just not good for boxing. If this guy cared about boxing, then he wouldn't be trying to keep his fighters away from Bob's fighters and Eddie Hearn. I mean, he's more interested in getting at Eddie Hearn than he is making his fighters big fights and big paydays. That just shows you this guy just don't care a toss for boxing. The sooner he's out, the better. I'm sorry, but this guy, he's a music producer that found his way into the sport, and he's got no interest for it. How many fights do you see Al Haymon up? Go on. Tell me
Not
one.
Many. Not
just
many.
the Mayweather fights, but he's not seen. He's
Of course he's at the Mayweather fights when he's getting that 10%.
Right?
Of course he's there, man.
Exactly.
The only
Put it
time
this
he's
way,
been
right?
in the ring was when Burning Forest fought in Mosley. That was his first fight here.
I think he's angry because he doesn't like the way the sport treated his brother, which you can't blame him, but he was angry at the sport, and he started calling the HBO executive late 2003 when he started saying, back then, I could take that sport over. I could run that whole thing. And that's in the long read, that article, like I can email it to anybody if they want to see it, and it breaks it all down, the first meetings and all that other shit. But he would call the HBO executive in the middle of the night and talk to him. They were friends and say, listen, I could run boxing. That was his plan. He started the PBC with one intention, to take over boxing. He wanted to make the sanctioning belts irrelevant by he actually designed.
Thank God that didn't
PBC
work.
belt. They were going to do it just like they were going to do it just like UFC. But when he failed and it did take over boxing, I think he lost his drive, and now he's just in it for the slice.
Let me tell you something about this, right? Al Haymon, right? He was pissed off that Lou DiBella organized the deal for Wilder Joshua for $120 million. So he made every attempt to make sure that fight didn't happen because he wasn't in on the deal. He didn't do that deal. That's why that fight didn't happen. He's like,
and he fired LaBella for it too.
Yeah, Lou DiBella made that deal happen. It wasn't nothing to do with Al Haymon, and once Al Haymon heard about it, he was like, that fight's not happening because I didn't, because we didn't negotiate it.
Yeah, Lou DiBella
for boxing.
Lou DiBella would have been a lot better option for Deontay Wilder. He'd have made more money with Lou DiBella, and he'd have got bigger fight. Haymon has held him back from big paydays. I mean, DAZN fucking that guy was so much flaws. Got offered 110, 120 million, whatever it is. If I was Wilder, I'd snap the fucking hand off. I mean, a guy like that who's vulnerable to getting knocked out any moment, you've got to snap them deals up because once the deal's been signed, DAZN still have to pay you. And same with Broner. Look, he allowed Broner to miss out on the biggest fucking deal he'll ever get in 10 lifetimes. You know,
and that's why I'm glad, that's why I'm glad that when he didn't do it, that Fury gave him a good beating, like the LAPD giving Rodney King good beating. He deserved it then.
Yeah, he did. Right, and I don't blame. I don't blame. Deontay Wilder for it. I blame Al Haymon. The fight didn't happen because Lou DiBella hurt Al Haymon's pride. That's why the fight didn't happen. He made sure that fight didn't happen after that.
And that's exactly my point, brother. You're basically agreeing with my point. Al Haymon's not good for boxing. He's not good for these fighters. And the sooner he's out of the sport, watch the sport start to flourish a bit more. He's holding it back because he's got. Let's be real. He's used the Don King card, isn't he? He's used the Don King card. Got all the black fighters on side, but then he's leaving them to rock. He's basically giving, look, it's stick with the brothers and earn a half decent living, or sell out and earn millions of dollars. And he's making them feel guilty for doing it. So they say, all right, Al, we'll take $2 million for a fight instead of 10. We'll do that just for you, Al. I mean, these fucking fighters, clowns of the highest order.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know how anyone can stick up for him, tell you the truth. And anyone who sticks up for him is a fanboy. They're LDBC fanboys who know nothing about the inside of the sport, or who don't love the sport of boxing. That's the way I see it. And I understand the brainwashing part of it.
Are doing good decisions in the fights that they're taking now, and you know the PBC fighters, they didn't take the tough fights before, but they weren't planning that the coronavirus was coming, and now these guys are in like their early 30s when they're exiting their primes. So it's kind of not working out for them if they thought they were going to burst into the scene and get big pay-per-view fights when they were like in their early 30s before they exit their prime, because now we got the situation with the coronavirus. So I don't think Al Haymon or anybody foresaw this, but this is what happens when you marinate two things for your stable of fighters. You get thrown wrenches in unpredictable situations like today.
It seems like Al Haymon is Don King version 2.0.
Yeah, but at least under Don King, the fight had to fight. Right? He may have robbed them blind, but I tell you, under Don King, these fighters fought for their money. For whatever limited money they got, they fought for it.
Hey guys, we have a phone call. Let's take it. 407. You're on the air. 407.
Hey guys, it's Boricua, and I just wanted to say I completely agree with all the statements you've been making. Now, my personal big question is, what's next after these next couple of months? Because we're getting all these big fights, but they're wasting all their big fighters. So what's going to happen now that they're not only exiting their prime, but they're not going to have much left? Is Al Haymon just going to give up on boxing and give the PBC to another promotion?
Jimmy probably knows more about this. He's not here.
Well,
Jimmy, go ahead.
There was talk of Dana buying it, but in the beginning, when PBC was first, you can tell if you look under their LLC, their corporation, when the PBC first, to get that money from Waddell and Reed, they had a show. It was a legit thing. They showed him a slide of water bottles, jackets, hats, all these PBC. There were going to be a subdivision of all just paraphernalia, which never was built. 6 weeks after they signed the deal, he canceled all of it. He shut down that LLC. That's all in public record. You can see that. It was in that story Hauser wrote. But, Dana White wanted to buy it, but what are you actually buying? You're not buying not even the sign anymore and all that other shit. You're just buying contracts. But really, what are they worth? These are the same fighters he's had since 2015. In fact, if you look at all the good young black American fighters today, the last ones who come up, we would have to say Stevens. You'd have to say definitely Haney. Why did those guys not sign with Al? Ask yourself that. Especially when Haney was training at Mayweather's gym. He was at a fucking basically a PBC gym, and he still signed with Eddie Hearn. Why is that? Ask yourself that. It's for a simple reason. They saw it. There's enough of a sample size now. 5 years has gone by, and he has looked at how he's handled these guys' careers. And even, the biggest, all right, Errol Spence, everybody can admit this. Coming off that win, after going over to England and beating an English kid like that in England, and then put him on a shelf for 11 months, he doesn't promote
Great idea.
properly. He doesn't, you know what I mean? He doesn't take anybody. And then what he did, he signed a contract with the Barclays because the guy who, what's his name, who ran Rock Nation, his twin brother is the president of the Barclays Center. So they signed a deal with, so they signed a deal to Barclays. So if you're a kid from Texas, like the Chalos, why the fuck do you want to be fighting Brooklyn? You know what I mean? Like you don't stick fighters in geographical, it has no relevance to the fighters. That's not how you build a brand. You know what I mean? Wilder's fought once in his hometown. He's fought once in Alabama. He's the heavyweight champion. So he just didn't do anything proper. So it just goes where everybody says. So I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, exactly.
That's what Hearn does so well. He gets a fighter and he builds them a brand in their hometown before he starts going across the nation. That's what you've got to do. Unless it's like with Joshua, he already had the base for him because he was in Olympics on the telly. Everyone knew he was. When you're building up a fight from scratch, you've got to make him a decent name in his hometown first, and then you build him across the. And I think Hearn always does that. He always usually fights these guys. He always fight in their hometowns, you know, and get the following going. And then you go from there. The thing is, like I said, Haymon's getting fighters, and he's making them fight like the other side of the states. In states that, you know, in fucking states that no one cares for him for, you know, and I don't get that. It's like Sean Porter, and he'll fight anywhere but home, you know, and you just got to get, you got a bit like Crawford is in Nebraska. If you've got that, then why would you want to move him from Nebraska? You know?
Not only that, but I honestly think Spence is a bit chinny because I think it was in between second, third, and fourth with the Porter fight where he got hurt for a bit. So. And Daniel Garcia obviously has more power. Now, I don't think he's going to put him out because of the low output Daniel Garcia gives. But I wouldn't be surprised if he drops him or hurts him at one point of the fight.
No, it's possible, man.
Okay.
All right, man. Hey, caller, thanks for calling, Boricua, man. Call back again next time.
All right, y'all have a great day. God bless.
I'll take care. All right. So what are we talking about, people?
Well,
all over the place
look at
here.
what Bob Arum said. Bob Arum
Yeah.
was the one who said, you can't have how do you make a fighter a fighter can't be famous if he's not a household name in his own household. To what Stu was saying, you got to build them grassroots. You get that home base behind them, because what happens? Those people are willing to travel. So like, if you know, they'll travel to Vegas. And once you build that, like Stu said, you build that base, you get to start it like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like Ritson.
You got to have a crowd following you.
Like Lewis Ritson is from Newcastle. Now that guy gets a massive crowd, 9,000-10,000, and they're fucking one of the most partisan crowd in boxing. But you take Lewis Ritson and put him in London, you're going to get a few of the lads from Newcastle travel over, but it's just not the same, is it? Londoners are not going to be on the phone trying to buy tickets for Lewis Ritson. They're not. But where you put him in Newcastle, he's filling up in an hour. He's selling out in an hour, and that's how you do things. That's how you get your money back on these fighters.
Yeah, that is true. Like Terrence Crawford fought a lot in Nebraska. Like he fought a lot of his earlier fights in Nebraska, and he got a following. Now, if he goes to Vegas, he's got a Nebraska crowd behind him when he goes to Vegas. Like if you fight maybe once, if you fight once in your hometown, and you don't get a following in your hometown, and even people from the hometown go, well, who's this guy? You know, I've never, you know, I don't know him. I don't know of him. You know, and he's in Vegas. Oh, he's from Nebraska, really? Has he ever fought here?
Omaha.
You know, or Omaha, whatever. You know, has he ever fought here? You know what I mean? Like, how many times did he fight, you know, in his home state? Right? And they look up Neil and goes, once. No wonder I don't know the guy. Or I didn't know he was from here. If you can't get a following from your hometown, who's going to go to watch your fight in Vegas? Or when you go, you know, to a bigger stadium? You know, Ricky Hatton took crowds to America with him.
When I saw Ricky Hatton fight in Boston, dude, I was shocked how many English guys were there. I was shocked.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
absolutely. Like he could fight that Manchester Arena. I forget the name of it, but Jesus Christ, there was nearly 17,000 people every time he fought there.
25.
And 25,000 people. Yeah, when he went to America, or somewhere else, like it was, crazy the crowd to follow them because he had a home crowd following.
My friend, I just had a quick look on Wikipedia. So Crawford has fought 36 times. He's won 36. He's only fought 7 times in Nebraska.
Yeah, well, he's still, it's still more than one time. He's still got a following in Nebraska.
Same with Ramirez. Ramirez was the number one. From 2015 through 2017, those 2 years, the number one drawer in the United States was Ramirez, the kid who fought last night, because Bob had him fight all the time in his home. He was pulling in 15,000 people in his home state.
Yeah, that's because Bob had them fighting in his home state, in his home.
Exactly.
That's why he can bring in a crowd. Because if he went to Vegas now, the following for that young lad from his home state, there'd be a big, massive following going to Vegas with him. If he fought Josh Taylor in Vegas or wherever the fight would be.
Yeah, but right now we have no crowds. People,
remember that?
That's what I mean. Crowds are last of our worries right now. Where's Sean Porter from? Is it Cincinnati?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
what I'm saying.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati's not, there's not really a lot of big boxing names that they've got to get hold of. Sean Porter's a fucking world-class fighter. I mean, exciting fight. Why aren't they building him up in Cincinnati, making him a name in his hometown? I mean, Cincinnati are crying out for fighters, man. He's not a proper promoter. He hasn't got a fucking clue. Eddie Hearn has forgot more about boxing promotion than Al Haymon knows. Telling you.
Yeah. Well, Eddie, Eddie Hearn, right? He loves fighters to fight in their hometown because he knows it's going to get a crowd. Now, Eddie Hearn, following the example of Bobby Hearn, that's what Bobby used to do. Bobby used to build up fighters in their hometown and get their name out there. And then when those fighters moved somewhere else, they had a following going with them. It's an old strategy that Al Haymon doesn't have a freaking clue about. He doesn't. He has no clue. He doesn't know how to build up a fighter.
Because he wanted to change the game. Like he said, that was his thing. Change the game. He was going to change all the rules. And for time immemorial, you start out at home, you build up a following. Because if you're not a household name in your own household, you're not going to be a household name anywhere else.
That's true. And that is true. But, Al Haymon, I think he's making that up as he goes along. He has no idea how to build a fighter. He's trying to do the Floyd Mayweather. He's trying to do the Floyd Mayweather thing. Well, if there's two big names in the sport, avoid him, and then when they come together, then they can make big money. They tried to do that with Joshua
and Wilder. Absolutely,
Wilder.
Yeah,
Wilder, and that backfired on him because they turned down 120 million, and the only reason they turned down 120 million is because he was not part of the deal.
Superb.
He is.
Jimmy, we have. I just want to take Jimmy. I want to take this. I want to take this phone call. 226. You're on the air. 226.
Hello, fellas. What's going on?
What's up, man? What's on your mind?
Yeah, fellas, it's Alligator Al. Just calling for them Vikings cents on the boxing.
All right, go ahead, man.
Hey, PDA, you got an attitude or something today?
Bucho, man, Bucho.
Go ahead. What is it? Bucho, you got an attitude?
No, sir. Alligator, I want to trouble with you, man.
Hey.
All right, go ahead, Alligator Al.
So, Bucho, what are we talking about here, fella? What are we talking about?
Did you watch yesterday's fight? Ramirez against Postol?
No, listen. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the future. I want to talk about the future. Let's stop talking about the past, fellas. Let's stop talking about the past.
What's the future?
Come on, what's going on in the future?
Okay, what's the future?
What's the future? The future's Crawford and that fruit boy Pacquiao, right?
I mean, I don't think that fight's happening. We're talking about actually Al Haymon right now, and I mean, he's mismanagement of the sport basically.
Dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
Listen. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Okay, the PBC has the best fighters, and like I don't even understand how is there even a competition? What is Matchroom Boxing or Top Rank or Golden Boy? Who do they have that's better than PBC fighters?
Let's look at Top Rank. Let's look at Top Rank, shall we, for a start? Crawford, Lomachenko, people like that. You know, Beterbiev's just joined Top Rank as well. You've got Tyson Fury. I mean, Usyk. Usyk's with Eddie Hearn, but you know,
Eddie Hearn, but I meant not with Al. I meant like all these fighters, not with Al.
Oh, mate, like I said, Eddie Hearn's got some very good fighters as well. But Hearn's got fucking Golovkin, Anthony Joshua. You know, he's got some very good fighters himself. So, look, I mean, Al Haymon might have the best fighters to you because you're an American and you know, it's the fucking Truman Show over there with you, isn't it? You know, there's a world.
Who said I'm an American? Who said I'm an American? Why would you
fucking sound like one? That's enough for me. Well, you listen. You live in the States. You live in the States. You live in the States. You probably just look at what America's got and just automatically assume that they're the best fighters in the world. But I can assure you, Charlo's not the best middleweight in the world.
Listen, can I correct you on something? Can I just correct them for a sec?
Sure.
You're assuming, and you know what happens when you assume? You make an ass out of you and me, okay? So,
well, no, I don't need to make an ass. I don't mean to make an ass out of you. You're doing a very good job out yourself. Perfect.
Just hear me out. I never said Lomachenko, Usyk, Golovkin are not great fighters. Those are A1 fighters. All I'm saying is, overall, I think PBC overall has the better fighters. I mean, I don't see the argument there.
Okay.
I do.
Right, Paul, let me ask you
an argument. Let's go through the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Let's go through the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world in most people's eyes. You've got Canelo, Lomachenko. You've got Usyk there. You've got
Tyson
Fury at number 4, I believe, and I think it was Golovkin at number 5. Not one of them's with Al Haymon. Not one.
AJ.
I mean, if you're going to put Crawford at number 6, even if you want to put him high, you can. He's not with Haymon either. Who's at number 7? I've not seen the pound for pound list for a while, but I know Spence is on there. But let's be real. If you look at that pound for pound list, how many of them fighters are actually Haymon fighters?
Haymon's got one in the top 10. I was going to ask the caller, so what is he using to gauge that by? Because if you're going by receipts, if you want to talk about money earned for the fights, okay, it's definitely not Haymon. His pay-per-views lose money. If you want to talk about gate, Al Haymon has never had a sellout. Never had a sellout. Not one fight he's ever promoted has been a sellout. Besides unless it's a co-promoted fight. No Al Haymon fight is.
I'm not talking money. I don't care about money. Listen, fellas. The money doesn't make the fight. The fighters, fighting. That's the fight. I'm just strictly saying overall. Al Haymon overall has it. Listen, this is what I'm trying to say to you. You might tell me that Hearns has 2 boxers that are, best elite, and then what's his name? Bob Arum has 3 that are top elite, but Haymon only has 1, But still, Haymon tends to have those, lower elite boxers. He has a lot of those. And I'm saying overall, he's got overall the best boxers. You guys are just like, here's the thing: who does Golden Boy have besides Canelo? That's all he's got is Canelo.
Virgil Ortiz,
but Canelo's
eventually.
Ryan Garcia.
Canelo's better than any of his fighters, though.
Virgil Ortiz, Ryan Garcia, because you say you don't want to go by money. Stu just gave you the top 10 list, so that has nothing to do with money. Haymon has one fighter in the top 10. He has over 200 fighters signed. He doesn't promote his fighters well. At one time, 2015, I'd say, yeah, he had the most, I would say overall talented fighters, but it was wasted talent. He never matched them. He never built up any momentum. Name one Haymon fighter that had momentum. Anytime they gain even a little momentum, they get shelved because he has to spread it around. He only has so many time slots. So he was a creature. What?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's just in a book.
It's a Hadouken.
What's that squeaking noise?
I don't know. So it's the caller. Just like some background noise.
They have the word uppercut.
Hey,
You should get that there for
listen,
uppercut.
Listen, I filter it out. I filter it out so the YouTube doesn't sue me.
Oh, I see. Anyways, Jimmy, you want to finish your point?
Well, look, listen, guys. I appreciate the input. I'm a logical man. I don't argue for the sake of arguing. I think Stu made an excellent point about the top 10, and I'll be honest with you guys. Like I said, I don't bullshit. I think he might have just changed my mind. So before I leave, I just want to say,
you're an honest man.
Fuck the PBC.
You're an honest man. That's a rarity.
Huh?
Hey, but that's what it's all about.
No, good for him. He's an honest man.
What's that, Stu?
We don't get that often.
That's what it's all about, though. It's about coming on here and.
No, he muted. I don't know. Anyways,
What's
You guys have changed my mind.
Stu, what did you say?
Stu, go ahead.
I just said that's what it's all about, bro. It's all about coming on here and you just learn it. I learn things every time I come on the show. I don't know everything about boxing, and like I said, you learned something today, and you take it on for the next time you're in a debate. You can use that one against someone else that's trying to use that. Al Haymon's not the best, but that's what it's about. It's just about it's about debating and swapping ideas and learning off each other. It's not about who knows the most and who's right and who's wrong. That's the problem with boxing fans. That's the problem, mate. Instead of getting all together and fucking, coming to a conclusion, everyone wants to force their opinion on everyone. That's what it's about. So yeah, it's a good thing that you called in. Like I said, there'll be a time when you call in. I'll learn something from you. So that's what it's about.
I
don't quite get why Jason Bourne is making that statement. To be honest, but on the screen, but whatever.
What statement?
I would never agree with Stu, even if he could cure cancer. Well, if somebody's right, you can't really argue, can you?
Yeah, Jason Bourne will never agree with
whoever said that's a fucking low IQ bum. I don't want them to agree with me. I don't want a low IQ bums agreeing with me. I want to be talking to people with a fucking brain cell would be a start, and where I can have dialogue with someone, not some fucking. I mean, just go and read some of the comments from these fucking clowns. I mean, just their lives must be just a misery from the minute they get up to the second they go to bed. I mean, just.
All right, hey, Alligator Al, thank you for calling in. Call back again next time.
You can have issues with Stu.
No,
you might rub somebody the wrong way, but fucking dude knows his shit.
Me out. But listen, Butcher, if that fucking no good son of mine calls again, you know what to do, right?
I know what to do. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Take care, man.
All right, take care.
All right, that was Alligator Al. We have somebody in the chat.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Jason Bourne says he would never agree with me, but what about if I told him that Andrew Galata got knocked the fuck out by Lennox Lewis in a round? He can't not agree with me because it happened. So it's at the end of the day, he's just wanting to disagree with me because I don't know what it is with Jason Bourne. I mean, I think he's got some sort of like homosexual tendencies going on there. I mean, the way he fucking stalks me and hovers around me. I mean, it reminds me of actually when I'm well, I've got some girls that are interested in me. You know, when they're always fucking yearning for your attention. That's what Bourne's about. I mean, he got what he asked for. I mentioned his name. He can go to bed happy now, can't he?
Yeah.
Thing is, one thing I'll never understand with Andrew Glotter. He was winning twice against Big Daddy, Bo, and he threw it away, and I will never understand that.
With the ball punching?
Yes, yeah.
He was just an angry dude who wanted to fucking take his babyhood away, I guess. No, Stu, listen, dude. If you rub somebody the wrong way, if somebody's saying that, if they're gonna say that you don't know what you're talking about boxing, you're just lying. You know what I mean? You're just straight up lying. Now they're just being spiteful.
And then you, hang on. Then you got some dipshit called Tone in the.
All right. Still having problems with his dogs, I guess. We got another phone call. Let's take it. 419. You're on the air. 419.
Hey, what's up, Bucho?
Hey, T-Tone. What's up?
Yeah, hey, earlier, when I commented on the fight, Ramirez won the fight, you asked me to call in, and I couldn't call, but I'm here now.
All right.
So, hey, Bucho, who did you say won the fight? You said Ramirez, right?
7-5. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, it was a good fight. It was a close fight, and I got Ramirez winning the fight too, and that's why I was surprised when Johnny Boy went up there and was saying Postol won the first 5 rounds. Surprised you didn't put him straight. And then he won the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Nah, man. Hey, that was a good fight, but Ramirez won the fight. It was a good fight.
Yeah, but what about Ramirez's
what about his tell him.
Yeah, I told him. I told him I thought that Ramirez won, and I said why. I thought Postol was a little bit. Sometimes when the rounds that he lost, he was on the back foot. He was ending up on the ropes. So that's not ring generalship, in my opinion. He's unaware of where he is, and trust me, Postol didn't want to be on the ropes, right? So he was forced to be on the ropes. But
fought too much like an amateur.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if you want, yeah.
But there were before.
Yeah,
mate.
Punches
put Postol out of his comfort zone. Take
the pace. Ramirez.
Hold on, T-Tone. Stu, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just saying, take Postol out of his comfort zone of fighting at his own pace, using his straight punches and basically not doing much. He's good. He's hard to beat. But you put it onto Postol and make him fight where he has to fight back.
Yeah.
Then just falls to
be
pieces. I mean, look,
honest.
I'm not moaning it. Let me finish, please, Tito. I'm not saying that he was poor last night because I didn't see enough of him. I fell asleep. Well, that probably tells you everything you need to know. The fact that I did fall asleep tells me he weren't fucking exactly exciting on it. But I don't know if he won this fight or not. I can't say he did or not. But all I know is...
Ace, I was going to say, don't listen to some of the people in the chat and Johnny Boy, watch it yourself, and you'll say that he didn't take it away from the champion.
Well, that's the thing.
Hey, he put up a good fight. Hey, Postol was good, but he wasn't good enough.
Right.
The legs were
So,
there. Let's be honest.
Hey, and here's the biggest thing too, Bucho. I wanted to say, and the people in the chat and Johnny Boy, everyone that says that Postol won last night, every one of them is picking Taylor over Ramirez. And you can ask them that when they say Postol won the fight.
Well,
they'll say, yeah, I got Taylor over Ramirez. I don't know. It's boxing strange, ain't it? Like, to put down another, I don't know, but to say that Ramirez didn't win last night,
Ramirez
I'm
hurt
just trying
him
to
in the
think
7th.
is that an agenda behind
He
it?
didn't have him on the verge of knocking him out, but he did
strange.
hurt him.
What's that, Gonzalo?
Postol was just running.
Gonzalo, go ahead.
Go ahead. That's all I want to say. He was just running.
Yeah, I called it.
7th
I
and
called
8th
it.
round, he got hurt.
Postol,
But he wasn't on the verge of getting knocked out. But he was just running and landed a few little pity pack combinations. But that's basically it. He was fighting like an amateur, man.
Listen,
I told you that's what I seen too. Hey, Postol, like I said, he did good, but not good enough. But
Hey, one last question. One last question for.
Hey, boxing's back. Boxing's back.
All right.
That was a
Hey,
good
Tito.
fight. But yeah, Dave, that's all I wanted to say to it, Bucho. You know, huh? Don't let Johnny Boy lie to the people.
All right, I won't. All right, take care,
All right.
Tito. Yep. Thank you for
All right,
calling.
later. All right, bye.
Take care. All right, Stu, go ahead. You want to say something?
Can I, please? And look, I said from the start, never saw a stoppage in that fight. Just never saw it. I just felt Ramirez is, like I said, he's a very good fighter, but I just don't. He's not a concussive puncher for a start. I just don't think Postol's he's just got a very awkward style. He's hard to get to. He's a bit like Vlad. Vlad might have a real bad chin, but it's fucking landing on the chin, isn't it? That's the problem. You know, and I think the same with Postol. It's just hard to catch him clean. It was always going to be that sort of fight. That's why I said Ramirez will just, the work rate would be enough. And then I just felt that was the case, and I was right yet again. But look, Ramirez is. I just don't think he's can beat Prograis or Taylor. I mean, Regis Prograis. Did you watch Regis Prograis when that Mexican fan said about Ramirez would beat Josh Taylor? And Regis Prograis said Josh Taylor would smoke Ramirez. And that was before he'd even fought Josh Taylor. This was before the fight had even been gone ahead. You know, even Prograis said Josh Taylor would smoke Ramirez. And I go with Regis. And I believe
pick
Regis
Taylor
as well.
I don't know if it's a whooping. Some people are saying in the chat like Taylor's not going to whoop Ramirez. I don't think he's going to
No,
whoop him.
it's not going to whoop him. No, because look, he's a tough Mexican. He's not going to go away anytime soon. It's going to be a hard fight.
Yeah.
They don't come and fall over Mexicans, do they? They're not like fucking some of these fucking clowns in the UK and America.
Put it like this, right?
Even if they're useless, they're not going to fall over. So he's going to have. Yeah. He's a tough kid. He looks like fucking Roberto Duran. You know, he's a tough kid. So Taylor's going to be in for a war. I just think that the quality from Taylor, I just think he's got a bit more about him. He's got more tools in his arsenal, should we say? And I just think that one.
Did learn.
What?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ramirez
Go ahead.
is small. He's not that big. Postol was bigger than Ramirez.
Time out. Josh Taylor beat Postol up in the end. That's the difference. Beat him up, had it dropped him, hurt him, had him all over the shop. That's the difference. You know.
Yeah, but it was a tough fight.
Can I say
Yeah,
something?
but the thing is, Ramirez has not been in there with Regis Prograis yet. You know.
No.
I forget about Taylor right now. I'd put him in with Prograis next. I don't fancy him to win that one, to be honest with you. Regis Prograis, for me, is the second best 140 in the world. I think even when he fights Taylor again, he'll give him another hard fight. It's just a real difficult fight for anyone. That'd be the fight for me next. Yeah.
Brian, go ahead.
Last night, right? I always thought Josh Taylor would beat Ramirez anyway, but after last night, I'm more convinced he will. Ramirez just ain't busy enough, you know, for his style. You know, for the pressure boy style, you have to be a busy fighter. You have to be, you know. I think he's a fit lad, and I think he's got the ability to throw a lot more punches on the inside, but he tries to throw single shots.
What did I say to you? That fight we watched the other night with Morris Hooker. That fight we watched the other night with Morris Hooker was a terrible fight to watch, really, because Morris Hooker was dreadful and he brought nothing to the table. So Ramirez could just do what he wanted. But with Postol, I think he got caught with a couple of shots from Postol, and I think he was a bit wary about jumping in and flying in like he usually did to close the distance. Like I said, the straight punches from Postol would be key. And that's probably what the problem was. The long arms, the straight, world-class straight punches from Postol, catching Ramirez as he was coming in. I think Ramirez was just a bit wary of that. So that's probably why the work rate weren't as much as it should be. It's because he's usually quite busy, Ramirez. But if you keep trying to get inside and you keep getting clocked with the right hand, you know, you're going to start thinking about you.
Yeah, he's usually quite busy.
Yeah, of course, he is. But that's what. But that's what Eastern Europeans do too much.
Good.
Yeah, them Eastern Europeans
do
that.
A lot. Ramirez is able to change his level. You know, right? We have the slow start. You know, I think that's his pace for the rest. I think Ramirez has to start quick, and he gets his confidence, and he stays at that pace. He starts a very slow fight. I think that's the pace for the rest of the fight. I don't think he's able to change his level.
Yeah. I mean, Brotherhood in the chat said Morris Hooker did better than Postol. I don't know what fucking planet this guy's on, but I mean, I think he scores fights by who's got the shiniest six pack because it ain't punches. That's for sure. I mean, look, Postol is a far better fighter than Morris Hooker. Just simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's true. It's a step up to him level, but it was a close fight.
Hey, Brian, you sound all muffled, man. Brian, your mic, you sound muffled.
Brian, get under from the blankets.
Yeah.
Blanket on.
Can you hear me?
Anyways. Guys, maybe we should end the show. It's gonna be like 3 hours now. It's been 3 hours. And I got some stuff to do, man. So let's just call it a night. And
how dare you have a life?
Exactly. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Sorry. But I want to thank you guys for joining us. Great show, guys. As always, and everybody in the chat, great comments from some of you. But yeah. We'll see you next time. Yeah.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good time. Hey, can I just say one thing, guys? Listen, if any of you guys are into shooting, let me just pass some knowledge on. The Glock 44 that came out last year, it's a 22, because if you're like me, you shoot a lot, and bullets are expensive as fuck right now, and you want to shoot a 22, because they're 3 to 8 cents a bullet, and it's just easier that way. So I got a Glock 44, the new 22. It's the same size as the Glock 19. Dude, every other shot, stovepipe. I've tried 3 different ammunitions. I picked up 440 grains today. So I'm just letting you know, don't buy it. It's expensive as fuck. I mean, $300 for a 22 handgun that you have to spend $200 to get a threaded barrel if you want to run a suppressor. But in every other shot, the bullet gets caught up, stovepiped, dry shot. Anyways, just wanted to tell you guys, the gun just came out. I bought it. Totally disappointed. Just wanted to put that out there. All right, gentlemen. Everybody be safe.
All right, man. Jimmy,
right.
Thanks for the info, man. And we'll see you next time, man.
Hey, Bucho, one last thing. So, Yugas is fighting Abel Ramos next Saturday, and we got Abel Ramos on Wednesday, right?
Yep, he's still there. He's still on.
Yeah, well, he's going to California, but he said, he's down to come on the show.
Perfect. I think I'm gonna get Shumber Mitchell
but
also.
It'll be interesting to see how he's training and what he's doing.
Okay, we'll talk on Discord. All right. Yeah, maybe we're gonna have Abel Ramos on the show on Wednesday, so stay tuned, people. All right, guys.
Okay, thanks for having me on.
No problem, Brian. Take care, guys.
Can you hear me?
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Totally disappointed in everyone. All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in everyone.
Let me tell you why. It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead. Shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.